Hello. Happy Sunday. Hey, Mike, what's up? All right, stream number 6. Sorry, I didn't give you guys a heads up this time with like a 30-minute thing. I guess on YouTube, if I want people to get like a 30-minute warning, I have to plan it 30 minutes from now, and I was too impatient. I just wanted to start right away, so I just gave it like a 10-minute heads up instead. Hey, Nick, how's it going? All right, we're in Ohio. The clouds look good, meaning I want a ton of clouds to fly through. So that's like my priority now whenever I fly is I want to fly in just not clear skies. Hey, Nick, yeah, I always use live weather every time. If there are no clouds, sometimes I'll like... Very rarely, not usually when I'm on a stream, but I will switch live weather off and put on, if it is clear, and then put clouds in because, yeah, I definitely want to see the clouds and the lighting, but yeah, I pretty much always fly with live weather on. All right, I'm flying the analog Caravan still. It's linked in the description, but you guys mentioned this for a few weeks leading up to last week, so I finally gave it a try last week. And I did spend some time getting used to this guy right here, the KS24. I played around with this a bit. I read the manual, the black box manual about it. So let's see. I still have that here. Yeah, here we go. Or Black Square, sorry, not Black Box. Black Square is the development company that made this. They're not sponsoring this or anything. I paid for it myself. But yeah, they have this entire manual about it. There's a whole section about the KS24, this thing. So yeah, I read through this. I tried it a bit. I didn't get as much accuracy using it as I thought I would, but maybe it's user error. But I'll play around with this if we have some good VORs available on our flights today. I'll probably just do 2 flights. I know it gets a little repetitive sometimes. So I try to, yeah, just do 2 or so, and then that's usually enough for the day. All right, open the fuel selectors, make sure our oxygen is full. Something that is really interesting about this is this plane. This has got to be one of the first planes I've flown where it saves the state of everything you do. So they have like a simulated engine condition and all of that. It also, like every button and switch and knob, I'm pretty sure everything is saved. So if you leave the beacon switch on, for example, and then leave and come back tomorrow, or start your new flight right away, come back in a week, it's going to save the state of all of these switches. So it does make it feel like it's actually a unique plane that you own that you're jumping in. So I think that's pretty awesome. So the same goes for the oxygen. So as you go through the checklist, if you end up getting this and flying it or another Black Square product in the future, I assume they'll do the same thing. But yeah, this will go down over time. So you actually need to use it's actually on the weather radar display right here. There's some plane specific functions in here to reset the engine condition, to refill the oxygen and other things like that. So yeah, so you actually need to refill the oxygen when it's low by clicking those buttons on the weather radar. So we're still in the green here. We're almost at 2,000 PSI. So it says we need at least 1,500. So we're good there. Ventilation and AC is all off. Yeah, normally when you start up in a plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the states of these things are not saved. So the pre-engine, like the pre-flight checklist, like the very first checklist, generally you're just like, yeah, of course everything's fine. But in this case, it may not be. If I accidentally left, bleed air turned on or something, or the bleed air heat specifically turned on, it would still be on if I left it that way. So these checklists are necessary in this when they might not be in another plane. Now that the chat's still slow, I only recently got into flight simulator tutorials that really helped me. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Nick. Oh, especially the G530. Yeah, I'm really, speaking of the 530 and the 430, I mentioned this like every stream, but the working title team has been working on a new 530 and 430, and they've shared a bunch of progress videos. So if you know about the working title team and all the awesome work they've done on the G1000 NXI, then you'll like probably be as excited as I am about it. They are making a 530, 430 as well. And they put a bunch of videos on their Discord. Everybody can go to their Discord. I think it's linked in my description below too. You can go and check out the videos they posted of the startup sequence. I think they showed off a traffic alert one. I think maybe that's about it so far. But when that comes out, I'm going to have a whole nother series. Pretty much the same thing I've done with the NXI, I'm going to do with the new 530, 430. So I'll have a video out for every single version that comes out. But yeah, the working title Discord is the place to check that out. Actually, let me just put a link in the chat really quickly. I think I have one. Yeah, here we go. I think that's it. There we go. So that's the Discord link if you want to join the working title team's Discord. They have a channel called Progress, and you can look in there, and that's where they post all the videos of their progress. All right, cabin mixing air. Emergency power lever is normal. This actually functions in this plane too. So if you lose your like primary power, like this throttle doesn't work for some reason, then you can use this as a backup. In the regular Grand Caravan, this isn't functional. All right, power lever is idle, prop full forward. I did take your guys' advice. I think you guys linked in my Discord. Sorry, I forget who linked to it, but a way to get this to work for feathering. So I did that. So now I think it was for the Kodiak, but it works for the Grand Caravan. So I can put this into the feather position now. And then the fuel condition was already working correctly, but yeah, it's pretty nice to have that actually working with the Honeycomb throttle quadrant. Fuel condition is cut off. Fuel cutoff is pushed in. Yeah, these, I should actually double check them. Yep, pushed in and in. All right, battery switch on. Test the annunciators. Sounds like one of my neighbors has started hammering, so hopefully that doesn't come through. Test the fire detector. Good. Flaps are up. I'm pulling on my switch right now. No smoking, seatbelt sign. We're going to allow smoking on board today? Sure, why not? Seatbelt sign. I'll just put it on for now. All right, engine start. Beacon is already on. Avionics switch 1 is on. And we can see I switch over here. 24 volts minimum on the battery, right? Or sorry, bus volts. 24 volts minimum. There we go. So we're at 26 or so. Emergency power should be extinguished. Actually, let's test that. Where is the emergency power annunciation? Oh, it's probably, is it standby electrical power? If I turn the battery off, huh. Avionics switch 1 on, bus volts 24. I guess, yeah, I'm not sure which one that is actually. There's emergency power lever. Low voltage, I guess, would probably be on. I'm guessing that's what it is. All right, prop is clear. Fuel boost pump. I got to switch for that. That is on. Fuel pressure low. Yep, that shows up right up here. And fuel flow is none. Great. Starter switch to the start position. Watch the oil pressures to rise. There we go. Wait for NG to stabilize. Should be greater than 12. It's greater than 12 right now. Wait for it to stop. Okay, that's stable. All right, now we can introduce fuel. Fuel flow. It's at 100. ITT max. It looks like it actually maxed out before the yellow this time. Greater than 52%. Starter switch off. All right. Someday I'll get enough of these streams and I'll get fast enough at this where I don't have to go through it step by step with the cameras. Check engine instruments. Yep, everything is in the green there. Generator switch to reset. So that makes it so we're on our generator now instead of our battery. Battery is charging. Generator load is positive. And I check the battery. Fuel boost pump off. Weather radar is off. Avionics 2. Nav lights as required. I'm just going to turn them on now because I always forget to click this one. It's the one I don't have a switch for on my... That's weird. Is my chat frozen? Oh, it was frozen. There we go. It's back. Sorry, guys. Did you ever find out where the outside air temperature is? Yeah. Hey, Kevin. What's up? Yeah, it's over here on the transponder. So any plane that has this transponder should have, if you hit function, you can find outside air temperature right on this. Have I had any issues with CTDs? Not yet. I did get the last update to the beta like the rest of you did this week. So I'm on 127.16. I haven't had any crashes yet, but I've only flown a few times this week. Bringing back the golden age with smoker flights. Yeah, in real life, of course, wouldn't do it, but I just think it's funny. Somebody in chat last time requested for the smoking light to be, for the no smoking to be turned off so they could enjoy a smoke, I guess, during the stream. Yeah, on the transponder, that's right. All right, suction check. Right there in the green, lots of suction. Slaved and aligned. This is in slave mode, and this is aligned right in the middle. Ventilation defrost as required. Let's check the inside air temperature up here. 82 degrees. It's a little warm, but it's okay. It's fine for now. If it gets too hot, then this thing will come on right here. Tell us it's uncomfortable for us and passengers, but we don't have anybody on board yet, so not a big deal. I just realized, of course, now that I started the whole thing up, I'm not going to shut it down, but OnAir Company is going to punish me for starting the flight tracking with it already turned on, but that's no big deal. Hey, Gumper, sorry. Yeah, I use the KDS 80 a little bit too, or KDS? KNS, sorry. KNS 80 as well. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit. I'll see if we can find some VORs on the way. And if we get an approach where we could use one too, that'll be cool. And yeah, I can demonstrate what I've learned on that so far. But yeah, it's really cool. You can basically, if you're familiar with VORs, you can basically take a VOR and relative to where that VOR is, you can put like a virtual waypoint somewhere that you can navigate to using your HSI. So it's almost like using GPS in a way. You're putting a virtual waypoint. It's not actually a radio navigation aid. That's what this little computer does down here. I think the Black Square guys in their video said that this is like a first of its kind in any flight sim that they know of. So if that's true, then yeah, this is the first one of these that's ever been in a flight simulator, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward too. You just basically put in the frequency of the VOR, and then you dial in a radial and a distance, and it puts a virtual waypoint there. And then what you can do is use your course selection knob over here on the HSI to choose what course you want to fly to or from that waypoint on. So we're pretty much using a VOR like we normally would, except we're moving the position of the VOR to create like a virtual VOR position. It's really cool. All right, let me go find a flight really quickly. We're making our way to the east, so I've been flying across the coast of across the U.S. Now, I actually started this career in OnAir Company way in California, in Southern California. And I've flown like north and then to the east, and we went through like the Dakotas. I think I went through Colorado at one point. We went through the Dakotas on stream. Then we went up through Minnesota, and now we're then Michigan, and now Ohio. So we're going along the Great Lakes region right now. All right, let's go ahead and find a job here. And the folks over at OnAir sent me more codes to give away, so I'm going to give away like 5 more codes during the stream. So if you guys are interested, yeah, you guys know I've talked up OnAir forever, but they were so kind as to give even more codes to give away so people can try it free for a month. All right, let's see. Not many options here. This one goes up to the north. That's crossing over into Canada, isn't it? We're like right near the Canadian border right here. That one goes to the west. Okay, this one looks good. This one goes to the east. It is a cargo mission, so we have 855 pounds of cargo to take over to Zelenope. I'm going to pronounce everything so poorly. All right, so this one looks good. So I'm starting at Sierra 24. And we're going to go here east. All right, 800 and something pounds. So let's repair that. I'm going to get sim brief ready to go. S24, Cessna 208. And then we're going to PJC, KPJC. Kilo, Papa, Juliet, Charlie. 45 minutes of reserve fuel. Okay, our freight is 855 pounds. I'm just Googling this. 855 pounds to tons gives us 0.427. So let's just say 0.5 to be safe. No passengers. And okay, cool. We'll be able to use the... I'm not sure about our arrival. Oh, the VOR is right... All right, this is... How short is this flight? I'll see when I generate it. It is 134 miles, but the only route it's giving us is going directly to the VOR. It looks like it's right nearby where we're landing. Yeah, EWC, Elwood City VOR, which is 115.8. I'm just going to tune that in right away. Do 1158 on here. And I'll put it down here too, and we can play with the KNS 80. 115.8. All right. Got a month running right now. Nice. I don't think there's any ineligibility. There's no rules around it other than everybody's allowed to get a code. So even if you already have one, you can get another one, I assume, and apply it to your account. At $10 a month, it better be good. Yeah, that is usually the sticking point, right? Like NeoFly is free unless you pay for the donation stuff to get the add-ons. Skypark is also paid, and then Skypark's a one-time fee though. And then yeah, NeoFly is a subscription. I think it's the only one that has a subscription model. So what I would recommend is, yeah, $10 a month could be hard to swallow, mattering your budget, of course. You know, people pay that much for Netflix and stuff. But if you pay for like 6 months, 12 months, 24 months in advance, if you like it, like I know I'm going to be using it long term because I've used it for a few years. I paid for 24 months. I actually pulled this up. Wait, I have it here. Here we go. Yeah. I put this together like a few weeks back because I had talked about it so much that I was like, I'm tired of trying to do the math in my head. So I put those little blue numbers. This is from the Aerosoft site where you buy the membership. The keys basically. So yeah, 1 month is $9.99, but as soon as you go higher than that, look, it drops to like $5, $3. So I did 24 months because I know I use it a lot. And it's $2 a month is the equivalent. So like I can stomach that. So yeah, the longer term you purchase, the cheaper each monthly equivalent is. So yeah, it is, you know, an option, right? I think the biggest thing for me, I always explain it every time, so sorry if I'm a broken record, but like it being all backed up online is important to me. Like I lost my NeoFly career a couple months back when I reformatted my hard drive. I forgot to back it up, so I just lost it all. And then also, am I gonna play Microsoft Flight Sim forever? Probably not. I mean, for the foreseeable future, yeah. But when the new X-Plane comes out, I can jump on X-Plane and then use my same career. So it's cross, you know, it's cross sim. So I think that's awesome too. You have one persistent career. And then they have all those like tycoon mode things where you can like run your own AI powered virtual airline and have AI pilots and employees, all that stuff. And you can like do it on your desktop computer or a laptop. You don't even need the sim. Yeah, it's just different. I always recommend that people start out, you know, if they don't want to pay $10 a month or commit to a long-term one, try NeoFly for a bit just to get used to career modes. And then if you like all the features like virtual airlines and stuff that OnAir has, try OnAir. Like I just try them all, you know, I think they all have their pros and cons. But yeah, I mostly use OnAir myself. All right, beacon light is on. This is on. Oh, this is external power list. Let me skip that. We're going to go to taxi. Let me finish prepping this flight. So we're just going to one VOR. So we're just going to EWC, generate the flight. We're just going to do this to check the fuel consumption so I know what to fill up here. Midday. No, I don't have a Twitch channel. I just do everything on YouTube. Keep it all in one spot. If you play Flight Sim every day and you don't have any inspiration for flights you want to do, yeah, that's the main thing for me. Like, I personally am not good at any kind of sim or any game in general that is like sandboxy. I think it's, for me, it's hard to keep the goals going, you know, like figure out where to fly. I mean, you literally have the entire world, so it could be, even with all the choice, it can be hard to figure out where you want to go. All right, 1,127 pounds for our fuel requirements. So we're at 7, 8. I'm just looking at this little number down here to fill it up. 1127. All right, and that's a 1129. And then what I can do actually is go down and export. This is optional, but you can go down and export these files, right, if you're going to import them somewhere else. The flight plan into somewhere else. So in this case, if I export this XML file and then I go back here, I can import that data. I'm just picking it from my downloads folder here. And then it'll pull in the flight plan. So it'll show it on the moving map in OnAir as well. All right, I should load the cargo up here. Almost forgot to load it. Hey, Theracat, what's up? Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Air Hauler 2. I tried Air Hauler as well. For some reason, it didn't stick with me. I don't know. I tried it very briefly, and I went right back to some of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of options. I think there's no downside. Like, just pick one, go for it. If it gets you flying more consistently, gets you flying in places you don't normally fly, it's a bonus. So yeah, I think they're all awesome. I wish there was a career mode just in the sim. Yeah, me too. I mean, even though I'm on a PC, like a lot of people are that use Flight Sim, switching between apps and linking it all up, like it would be so nice if it was all in the sim itself. OnAir Company does have, they do have a toolbar add-on up here that I have not installed. I don't know if they're going to be making improvements to it, or maybe it's limited right now what they can do. But all it shows when you open it here is a moving map. But that's useful if you play in VR. So if you're a VR simmer and you're going to use OnAir Company, they do have a moving map that you can put up in the toolbar here. All right, so everything is loaded. I'm auto setting everything. I think last week when I did the stream, someone was asking about flying the Kodiak and using OnAir Company because of how you load the payload and you load the fuel. So if you're flying the Kodiak, that's one of the few planes where as you load things using the in-game menu system here, so if you go to fuel and you open this guy up, and you set things here, you set your passengers, set your cargo areas, it'll actually show up. You know, you'll see the passengers load onto the plane. You'll see the cargo boxes in the back, you know, for that level of immersion. If you're somebody that flies the Kodiak, what you can do with OnAir is just right here where I'm circling my mouse, there are all these little check boxes that say auto set. So this here, it says date. So we have that auto set because the date and the time needs to match. Fuel is auto set. It's actually setting that even though it's not reflected up here in this menu. And then the total payload. So in my case, I'm going to auto set the payload. So it'll set it. What you can do if you fly the Kodiak and you want to get all like the passengers and the cargo graphics to show up, turn auto set off, because if you auto set it with OnAir Company, there's like a limitation where it does actually set it, but it won't be reflected in the menus and for the UI and like, you know, the passengers actually showing up. So if you do really want to see the passengers, just uncheck this auto set thing here. You can see how it turns red when I do that. It'll turn red until I go into the fuel and the payload menu here. I set all the weights myself, however I want to do it with my balance and everything. But as long as the payload in the sim matches this amount here, it says due 730 pounds. So you need to make the payload within the sim fuel menu match 730. This will turn green automatically, and then you'll be able to start tracking. So if you that's optional. Even if you're using the Kodiak, you don't have to do that unless you really want to see the passengers and the cargo inside the cabin. In that case, yeah, do it manually yourself, and you'll get that working. But for me, because this plane I'm in doesn't have that kind of thing, I'm just going to auto set it anyway. Or even if you're in the Kodiak, and you could just auto set it anyway yourself. If you're just lazy, you don't want to deal with, and you don't care about seeing the passengers in the plane. Anyway, as soon as I hit start tracking, it'll put the weight in there. There's a little shift I can see in the background when I hit that, so you can tell that it actually does load up the plane. All right, sweet. And I have the 730, or sorry, the GTN 750 on right now. I'm just gonna put it here just as a reference, but I'm gonna use the VORs to navigate. In OnAir, can you set kilograms? Oh, that's a good question. I think it may be in the global settings. I actually don't want to go to the global settings on stream though, because it has some things for me like it has some like API keys and stuff that are private that I shouldn't show on the stream, but there probably is. I have mine in all the imperial measurements, so, but some of them aren't. So like, tons, for example, I need to work with SimBrief. I need to like convert it. I think you can though. I don't know. I'm guessing. I would have to look it up afterwards. All right, let me set the origin S24 Sandusky. All right, flight data, and we're going to KPJC. Papa Juliet Charlie. Papa Juliet Charlie. I have no idea how to say this. Maybe if you live in Ohio or in the area, maybe you know how to say this. Zelenopla. Zenelope? Oh man, I'm just out. I'm not going to do it. All right. That's a hard one to say. Okay. And it's just one on route waypoint. The one on route waypoint we have is what again? EWC. Echo Whiskey Charlie. The Elwood City VOR. All right, there we go. And I already dialed that in, or I already tuned that in here on my nav 1. Once we take off, it'll be in range. And I also put it in down here, 115.8. I should put it on my standby as well. Just put on all of the nav radios. So in this case, we actually have we almost have 3 nav radios in this because the GTN 750 gives us nav 1 right here. Then down here we have this Bendix King receiver. This gives us another nav channel here. And then down here we get our third one. So we basically have 3 nav radios in this. And and so that's this switch right here, which it says HSI source. This lets us pick between nav 1, which is currently controlled by the 750, and then our nav, which is down here. This is the KNS80. So we can decide if we want to use, if it's on nav 1, mattering what avionics you have up here, you can choose to use, VLOC mode. You can use the nav source for the radio, or you can use GPS by hitting the CDI button, which is down back here on the map. There's a CDI button down here at the bottom. So if I hit that, we would go to GPS mode. You could see this change here. So here we're in nav, and then there's, this shortcut over here as well to switch between nav and GPS. And then I could also just switch this to RNAV. In this case, it would use the KNS80 down here. So you can see there's no information yet. I should actually look that up really quickly and see what type of VOR this is. Hopefully it has DME. So I'm going to go to SkyVector and just type in that VOR name. And zoom all the way in. So this is the Elwood City VOR right here. Yeah, it does have DME. It has the box around it. So that's a VOR DME. So we will have distance for that. What is this plane? This is the black square analog Caravan. So people in chat a few weeks back told me about it. So you guys let me know about it. And it is just the regular stock Grand Caravan model, but they've redone the interior, including the passenger area. And it's all analog instruments instead. So you can use, in my case, I'm using the GTN 750. It supports both of the add-on 750s. Over here, these switches let you choose your avionics. So you can switch between the 750 right here. You can use a 530 as well. And then you can use just have a simple Navcom radio. So you can just turn off, have no GPS. And then for your avionics 2, you can optionally turn on a 430 as well. And you can just do that in real time like I'm doing now. This isn't going to break anything. And then they also, over here, they have this amphibious option. So I think they said they anticipate that there's going to be some amphibious Grand Caravan models. So if you turn this on, it gives you a water rudder control here. It's not hooked up on anything yet because this is obviously not an amphibious model, but they actually have that available. It's very like forward thinking or future proofing. Very cool. It's a mod. It's payware. I think I paid $30 for it, 30 US dollars. Through, I think it was through Just Flight is where I got it. But yeah, it's payware, but it's pretty awesome. It was a little intimidating when I flew it. I flew it for the first time last week, right? So I'm getting a little more used to it after being very much in the digital NXI world for so long. So it's nice getting back into the analog instruments. And this thing has, we're going to use this on the flight a little bit. I'll see if we can find a VOR nearby to line us up with our destination a little better. Actually, no, this will work fine. Yeah, the VOR is really close to our destination airport. So we'll use this to place a virtual waypoint and kind of line up with the runway. Should be pretty fun. Everything cool has a price tag. Yeah. I mean, when people put in this much time into something, they're doing work for free. Doing work for free is really hard. It's hard to stay motivated, doing work for free on something this complex. Anyway, let me get ready to take off here. So I accepted. We started tracking here. And checklist. Let's go through taxi checklist. Flight instruments set and check. Cabin lights are off. Dim for taxi. Taxi lights. Let's turn the taxi light on. Inertial separator should be on for takeoff. Actually, in the video I saw, they didn't even use it for takeoff. So I still need to look at the rules. I think in general, you turn it on for like debris while taxiing, you guys were saying. Anyway, I'm going to just keep it on for takeoff. Parking brake. Yeah, test the brakes. Okay. Let's go to ATC. And we're automated here. Okay, so we have automated weather system. We don't have a tower here.
Visibility 7 in heavy rain. Sky condition ceiling 1,700 feet broken.
1,700 feet broken.
10C, altimeter 29990.
2990. All right, so we got clouds shortly after takeoff. So if we want to play by the rules, we need to stay under those until I get my IFR clearance. So it's 2990. All right, and then I just hit B on my keyboard, but if you want to do this manually with this autopilot, you have to hit the barrow button here. It's in hectopascals by default. If you press and hold it, it'll switch over to inches of mercury if you're flying in the US. So this is where you update it for the autopilot as well. All right, let's see if we can see our, what we got here. Where's our windsock? Oh, I didn't listen to the wind. Whoops. Let me listen to the wind again. If they're actually good, I don't mind paying like 30 bucks where I'm at. It's 60 or more. Yeah, didn't that PDMG, what came out? Was it the 737 or something? Isn't that only like $35 or something? Pretty sure the one of the big airliners came out recently, and it wasn't like $50 or $60. It was like $35. All right, wind is calm. All right. So for us, we'll just go taxi over to this side of the runway. More than fair. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing for an airliner. I expect the airliners to be more expensive, I guess, but oh, whoops, this was on. I didn't even turn that on, did I? Not sure why that was on. Yeah, I expect them to be more expensive in general. Seeing how many broken ones are out, I'm very careful with buying planes. Yeah, I mean, what's cool is that hopefully somebody like me or somebody else that, you know, I don't do a super thorough test on like aerodynamics and stuff like that. As far as I know, there were just a few aerodynamic tweaks to this. I think most of it was dealing with the avionics and the state saving. But this is, I mentioned earlier, this is the first one where it actually saves the state of like every single switch. And it actually has engine condition system here, and it'll introduce failures over time. You can actually change it so if you fly this, you know, long term, the default is like a real-time failure rate. So over time, things will happen at certain hours. So I think you can... Okay, this says random or scheduled failures. I forget. There's a list somewhere. Oh, here you go. So it shows at certain hours of flying, certain things will fail. This is on random. So I guess once you get to about 600 hours, there could be some random vacuum failures, things like that. So what this lets you do is change this failure rate time, and you can increase it so those hours tick up faster, so you can get to those situations where instruments are failing or systems are failing. And the engine will actually seize if you do if you just like have it over torqued, have it running too hot, things like that will lower the engine condition over time as well. And this is persistent, so that's why there's these two buttons are here: repair engine and refill oxygen. If you click these, it'll repair it to 100. It refills the oxygen that's up here between flights. If you get low, it actually will persist. This level will persist between flights and closing and opening the sim. So you do need to refill this over time. So this is the first plane I've ever seen that does stuff like that. Maybe some of the airliners do it, but at least as far as GA planes, I haven't seen anybody else do something like this. So it's pretty incredible, just the detail. Sounds perfect for on air. Yeah, exactly. All right, parking brake is off. Let me spin around here. I need to, I was watching a video earlier today, someone linked in Discord. The person that did the video had the new textures. And I had turned mine off, and now I'm kind of missing the like taxiway textures and the runway textures. All right, we're going to make a right here. Just so winds are calm, so I'm going to depart in the favorable direction for our course. So we're going to be heading to the east. And we'll use the RNAV system once we get up to get to that VOR, and then we'll set a virtual waypoint out from it. Actually, maybe I'll start by using just using nav1 to get there. So once we get up, I'll just twist our course knob to go directly to that VOR. I asked the OnAir guy if he'd be interested. Oh, the program made as a non-connected app for Xbox users. Yeah. Oh, you emailed them about it? It could just be such a big undertaking, especially for one simulator. That's probably, if I had to guess, I would say that's probably the reason they wouldn't, is just because they work on, right now OnAir works on all sims. Maybe it's just too big of a project to maintain just for one simulator or something like that. Let me put my flaps down so I don't forget. In takeoff position. Before takeoff, run up. I'm going to be bad and skip most of this. Standby alternator. Yeah, it's just checking to make sure standby alternator works. Trim set for takeoff. They're neutral, so we're good. Flaps are 10. Power lever 1800. Idle. Yep, this is checking all the electronic systems, making sure that the amps go up and down as we turn things on and off. Pitot heat on if less than 4 degrees Celsius. Our outside air temperature is 22 degrees. Icing is not needed. Not needed yet. We'll see as we climb, and there's some clouds all around the airport. It said starting at 1700 feet AGL is broken, so we'll see once we get higher and it gets colder if we need anti-icing. Yep, and then we just put fuel condition into high idle, release the parking brake, and we're good. All right, for takeoff, yep, landing lights, we'll turn those on in a minute. Set for takeoff, we just mainly need to make sure that we're not torquing past this takeoff marker right here, which is at, is that it, like 1875, I think? If you do have too much power during takeoff and the torque goes up into the red, then it will damage the engine down here. A couple of flights ago on stream, I did that by accident. I was just not paying attention. I just went to full power during takeoff, and by the time we took off and I realized it, the engine condition was down to like 40% from 100, so it was not great. PC specs, I got a 3080 and a 5900X processor, a ton of memory. I have it all in the, if you click on the about page on my YouTube channel, I have it all listed there. And then I'm using the TCA Airbus Sidestick and the Honeycomb Bravo Throttle Quadrant. And I use the Crosswind, MFG Crosswind pedals until I can get my hands on some Honeycomb Charlies. Tried playing it on your phone yesterday. You need a wireless controller, no touch inputs. Tried playing what on your phone? Flight sim on the phone. Wait, what? You tried playing flight sim on your phone? Like doing like remote sharing through your network or something? That sounds like a total experiment. What? Oh, on Xbox? It's like a remote play feature? Oh, Xbox Cloud. I see. All right, let's stop here.
Traffic Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa, taking off runway 6, departing straight out.
Oh, I have AI ATC turned on. Whoops. Let me turn that back off. All right, we're at high idle. Landing light on. Taxi light is off. Cloud, you need such good bandwidth, I bet. I mean, I don't know, that might, I don't know how I mean, how did it look? I think, I mean, what's nice about it being in the cloud is I assume that all the world data that's streaming, like, you know, whenever the rest of us are playing, not on the cloud, you know, it's streaming data constantly to the flight sim, right? Because they obviously can't store all this data on your hard disk. All right, let me watch my takeoff power here. All right, right there looks good. We're already at 50. This thing just comes up so fast. All right, takeoff power is good. All right, we're over 95. I'm bringing flaps up. All right, we're going to trim for 105 to 115. We're about 115 right now. And we actually have a radar or radio, however you'd like to say it, altimeter in this right here. So we can just see we passed 500 feet AGL just now. Once we get above 2,500 feet, this will turn off. So this is our analog equipment of our, or equivalent of our radio altimeter from the one I've been using in the NXI recently. Love this plane with either gauges or the NXI. Yeah, it's been a challenge going back to the steam gauge, not gonna lie, just because I haven't used it in so long. But it's a good challenge. I kind of missed out on this stuff, and I see using steam gauge is gonna be in my future. It's definitely gonna be in my future when the working title 530 and 430 come out. So the NXI, I mean, it may be I may be not using the NXI for a while. As I make this turn, let me check what SimBrief gave us. Yeah, 7,000 feet for our cruise altitude. Put that in over here on the autopilot. Yeah, Sergio, it is a paid add-on. It's its own plane. It's on Just Flight. It was about $30 US. What do I like more than 930? Or this plane? Hold on, maybe get the autopilot going here. Just gonna put our heading bug straight ahead. Okay, the VOR just came into range. Autopilot on. I think there's a bug with this right now with the autopilot. It doesn't go into pitch and roll mode by default. I think it's a Sim Update 10 thing. Yeah, I haven't flown the TBM for a while actually. Okay, we're in vertical speed mode. Let's go at 1,000 feet per minute. We're going up to 7,000 feet. I might as well do the flight following thing.
Toledo approach Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa.
Yeah, the TBM is awesome. I think the G3000 used to be like what before the NXI. The working title team's G3000 mod is still awesome. Once they started on the NXI though, like, and got VNAV and all that stuff working, it just, I don't know. I just focused completely on the NXI for a while. But I think the TBM is super fun to fly. All right, we're over 2,500 AGL because our radio altimeter just went out. All right, so we should have turned. We need to turn onto course now. Let's talk to ATC.
Squawk 0457 Cessna.
All right, so I'm just going to turn our needle here so we have a 2 flag, and we'll center the needle. Oh, it's pretty much already centered. Okay, radar contact acknowledged, 2990. That's the same altimeter we had before. All right, airspeed is good. We're still going up 1,000 feet per minute, passing 4,500. We're going up to 7,000. We'll do the instrument flight plan just to see if they assign us a different altitude. Outside air temperature, 15 degrees Celsius, so we're still good. Not worried about pitot heat and icing right now. It's so warm. All right, same squawk code, so we're good there. Read it back. Engine condition is good, so I didn't mess up on like over torquing it on the takeoff.
1057.
Cessna 87 Lima, readback correct. Radar contact 5,100 feet. Altimeter 29.990, continue to
2990. Alright, continue to the VOR. Climb and maintain 9,000. So we're going to 9,000 instead of 7,000. We're just keeping that going. I can give it a little more power now that we're getting higher. Alright, cool. So over here, what I have drawn in, this is the course from our... Whoops. This is the course from our origin airport to our destination right down here. Actually, it'd be better for us to go this way, but when I dodge this weather. Let's go ahead and turn on the weather radar as well. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to get this stabilization or stab off message turned off. I don't think there's any way to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody in chat last week was saying, trying to get me to get this mode enabled, but I actually couldn't find anything about it in the manual for the plane, and I can't find anywhere to click to turn it off. There is this like tilt. Oh, what does he want me to do? Alright, we're going to switch over to AI so I can stop AI ATC. There we go. So she'll take care of that for us. Yeah, but I couldn't figure out how to get that going. Yeah, is that why this looks all messed up? Do I have to do something here manually? Yeah, I'm not sure why this looks like it does. I'm clearly doing something wrong. As soon as I switch, you can see it looks like in full fidelity, then it goes away. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm clearly doing something wrong. This is the brightness knob. There's actually two brightness knobs. And then we have the vertical profile mode as well. Anyway, let me, I think we'll, I mean, they're having us climb to 9,000. Hopefully they're climbing us to avoid the clouds, so we'll see. 10 degrees outside. I'm going to turn the pitot heat on now just because we're climbing. It's going to get colder. We still have 1,500 feet to go. So let's see. So right here, I have all three nav radios tuned into this VOR that's on our flight plan here, EWC. So Elwood City, this is tuned in already. So if I click here and go to info 115.8, so I have that tuned in up here on nav 1. I have it on nav 2, and I have it on, you know, nav 3 essentially, which is the KNS 80. This is the kind of pre-GPS RNAV computer. So what this lets us do is not only so you can see I'm tuned into it, and it's giving us our DME information for that VOR. I actually couldn't see anything about the knots. I think this might be our ground speed. And then this is our estimated time to arrive at that waypoint, which right now is the VOR itself. What we can actually do with this, though, is you can give this a radial and a distance, and it'll basically make a virtual waypoint based off of that VOR. So we can actually use that to move a waypoint right onto, say, our destination airport. So let me go over to SkyVector and plug this in just so I can kind of visualize that. So we're going from KS24 or S24 over to KPJC. And then our en route is EWC, so I'm just transferring this over. All right, so this is our flight plan. So this VOR is right next to our destination airport here. So we can see here Elwood City, and if we want, we can just, obviously we can just use it like a regular VOR. I would just do that with our nav1 radio. So if I wanted to get onto course, the same course that's represented by our GPS here, which I'm not right now. Let's see what the radial would be. So we have this line drawn through it already. We just use the compass rose. And if I can make it out, here's 240. That's 25, 26, 27 is right here. 28, 29. It looks like it's about 292. So the radial coming from the VOR is about a 292 radial. So 292, the reciprocal of that, because 292 would be flying westbound, so we'd need to take the opposite of that. Oh, this is one of the tricky ones. So if I do +2 -2, 292 becomes, the 2 becomes a 0. Then we have 09. That becomes 112. So our radial, or our course inbound would be 112 instead of 292. So what I'm going to do is dial in 112 as our radial here. So let's see, this is, it's hard to see because of this, so let me move this out of the way a little bit. That's actually going to turn us. Oh no. All right, there's 11. There's 112, pretty much right there.
Cleveland Center Delta 508 is passing flight level 340, descending 10,000 feet. Delta 508, Cleveland Center.
Oh, and I have it on the wrong source. There we go. I was wondering why it was reversed here. I had it on RNAV still by accident instead of nav1. So I'll turn it back to nav1. And then we can just use the autopilot now in nav mode. So it's using, it'll use the VOR and track that radial inbound. All right, there we go. All right, so this VOR, yeah, the radial I just looked at was 292, but since we're going inbound, we use the opposite. It's the opposite course of that we're flying, right? We're flying to the VOR to do the reciprocal, so we're flying 112. But technically, we will be on the 292 radial. All right, so this should take us, it's flying right towards our course, and it's going to just intercept that radial and fly inbound. So now that means we're going to be on this magenta line flying right in here. This example is not too great, I guess, just because the VOR is so close to the airport. But what we can do, I mean, this will still work out just fine. What we're going to do is we can basically use the RNAV system, that RNAV computer, to place a virtual waypoint based off of this VOR's location. So here's the airport. Say we're going to approach from the north. We could put a virtual waypoint. What we would do is put the virtual waypoint starting on the airport, and then we'd figure out how far to move it away from the airport to give us an extended runway. That's where we would put the virtual waypoint, basically on the point where we want to fly from. Let's see, how do I? I guess the easiest way is just to demonstrate it. So what we would do, let me look up the airport information first. Are there actually instrument approaches available here? So there's actually 2 instrument approaches. We don't have to use these, but I'm going to use it just to find the runway heading. So here, runway for 17, final approach course is 174. So let's say we were going to land on runway 17, which is the final approach course is 174.
Frontier Flight 1462, have the traffic.
What I want to do is, because say we don't have GPS, what we want to do is put a waypoint right on the airport. This ATC is getting really distracting, sorry. Let me turn, if it'll let me, let me turn this down really quickly. Voices, there we go. All right, so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna figure out how far away the airport is from that VOR. Let me go back to the map. So it's really, really close. So it's only 3 nautical miles. So we see the VOR's right here, the airport's right here, and it calculates this for us right here. It says it's on a bearing of, or a track of 129, 3 nautical miles to get to the airport. So what we can do with the RNAV computer is move where this VOR is, basically. So we're gonna move the VOR to put it right on the airport. So all I have to do is move it as far and the same distance as it says. So So it's a... This is crazy. I'm just going to disconnect ATC for now. This is so... I know it's softer for you guys because we're heading into some crazy weather up here too. It's softer for you guys because I have it turned down for the stream, but for me it's really loud, sorry. Alright, we'll update the altimeter. It's taking us right into all this weather. It is 7 degrees out. And let me see if... Yeah, I have to figure out how to get this working. I don't know why it's doing this. It probably has something to do with this. Maybe I just have to turn this until that stab off message goes away. I'm not sure. I have to look more into it. I could really... I mean, it's clear we're going to fly right into this weather in front of us, so... Oh, inertial separator's on. Whoops. Turn it on when we go in clouds? I guess we should keep it on then. Yeah, I actually didn't find anything about using the inertial separator in the manual for the plane either. Let's see, we're at 7 degrees Celsius. Anti-ice is off for now. And cabin temperature is low, so let me turn on the bleed air heat. Yeah, it's 46 degrees in the cabin. Sorry, I'll get back to the navigation in a second once we get through this. 40, okay, it's heating up in here now. So there's this little blue light over here that turns on if the cabin temperature is too low. So I just noticed that. All right, pitot heat is on.
127.9er Alaska 412.
They assigned us an altitude, putting us right into this. I mean, it's not too bad. We could be lower. It looks way worse lower, but we're definitely not, obviously not out of it here. All right. So let's use the RNAV thing now. So what I'm going to do is the VOR is here. We can basically make it think the VOR is at the airport. So then we'll have placed a VOR at the airport essentially, and we can use that to navigate on a specific course to or from the airport instead of to or from the VOR. So here it says on a heading of 129, 3 nautical miles is where the airport is. So all we have to do is go down here and put that information in. So I have the frequency in already. We're 101 miles away from it. And all we have to do is hit this little data button down here. You can see it says frequency, radial, and distance. So I can just hit data. And that'll cycle this data up here from frequency to radial to distance. And this is why it was off before when I had the wrong course. I had it set on RNAV over here. So it was set to something I had set previously. So all I have to do is change the distance and change the radial. So radial, I'm going to change to 129 because it's outbound from the VOR. Let's do 129. So 129 on the radial. Hit data again, and then put the distance in. So we'll do 3 miles. And you can put a decimal point here if you want. You can push this inner knob. See how it toggles in and out? That'll give you access to the decimal points here if you want to put in a more precise distance. All right, so now that we've put in 3 nautical miles on a radial of 129, what it's doing is it's putting a virtual waypoint right here at the airfield. So I'm just using the information here that shows it's calculated as being 3 nautical miles away from the VOR on a track or a bearing of 129. So that's how I'm finding that. And some of this information you can just get from the airport information page itself. So right here, actually, this is probably going to be, or this will be more accurate because it's it says 2.7 nautical miles on the radial of 128. So I'm going to do that instead. So I'm just going to use this info 128 2.7. So let me update this. 128, and then we'll do 2.7 instead. Instead of the one that's shown by the Sky Vector, like the planned or the calculated route. This is more accurate. It has 2.7 nautical miles there.
SkyWest 3575 contact Cleveland Center on 127.9er. Good day. 77.
I actually forgot that the volume knobs work here.
127.9er SkyWest 3575.
There we go. I should have just done that a while ago. Sorry, that is getting extreme. That is getting to be a lot in the ear. So yeah, we're basically, this is going to be more accurate just because, I mean, this is, you can just see the precision here is more. It says 2.7 miles. The radial is 128. So I guess this would probably be the easiest way to do it instead of dealing with what's shown here, what's calculated by Sky Vector. Especially because on the airport information page, it's going to take into account the magnetic variation of the VOR and all that stuff. And it's, yeah, giving us a more precise distance here. So we're going to go 128 and 2.7. Is the airport info on the tracking page of OnAir? Not all of it. It does give you a little bit of information. So it'll give you like runway information. It'll give you some frequencies. I think it's on the previous page. It gives you frequencies for an ILS. It's basically this info that's up here in the corner. And so we have like the elevation, the distance, the heading, based on our route. And this is, some of this information's coming in because I imported my route from SimBrief. But what you can do, let's see, if I click on, actually I'm not sure how to get to the airport page from here. There is a full airport page you can get to, and it shows you, it has a couple buttons actually to open it in Sky Vector and other real-world resources to find more information. That's one thing I'm not sure about actually, is how to get back to that airport detail page. But it does give you a limited amount of information. I'm just used to going into Sky Vector and looking it up. So what we can do now, so say, let's see, I'm going to have to check the weather at our destination in a little bit. Once we do that and we figure out which runway we're going to land on, because we're basically making our own VOR and putting it right on the airport, right at the airfield itself, we can navigate to and from that VOR just like we would any other VOR. This one just happens to be like a virtual waypoint. So all we have to do is switch over, change our HSI source over to RNAV. And if I do that now, I could do that now. I'm just going to sync the heading bug up, switch to heading mode so it doesn't make any turns. So if I switch this, you see the needle right here deflected a little bit to the right, to the south. So this is giving me a course to the airport now, not to the VOR, because we gave it that virtual waypoint. So here, as I turn this, if I want to go directly to the airport, we could center this needle and go directly to the airport. But because we're 74 nautical miles away, this is pretty sensitive when I change it. Actually, it shouldn't be that sensitive. No, we're 73 miles away. I feel like this should not change as much, just doing 1 degree of difference. But what we can do once we get closer is figure out which heading we want to be on for which runway we're landing at, and use this waypoint as if it's a VOR on the airfield. So let's go back to, what was I at, 112?
Cessna 87 Lima, have the traffic.
That's about 110. Whoops. 110, 12. So I'll put it back there, switch over to nav 1 again, and put us back in nav mode. So this will put us back pretty much in line with our GPS course. Is the side NextRad coming to Sim Update 10? So this NextRad data right here, I think this is available already on the GTN 750. Oh, you're talking about the weather radar, I think. The weather radar is available on planes that have weather radar. Yeah, that's in the next version of the NXI, which will be out with Sim Update 10.
775 Cessna 87 Lima. Cleveland Center Cessna November.
It's weird that
Lima, 9,000 feet.
the voice changed.
Cessna November 1187 Lima, Cleveland Center altimeter 29.94. Continue to echo whiskey.
All right, 2994. I'm just going to hit B to make sure we're all synced up with that. It said continue as planned. So we're 68.8 miles. Let me turn this back down again. It's nice that the volume knobs work in the GTN 750 as well. So I can just use this to turn the ATC down. We also get DME information up here. So right here we can get DME info from NAV1 or NAV2. So we can actually see the difference right here. NAV1 is tuned into the VOR. So the VOR right here is what NAV1 is tuned into. And then the RNAV instrument down here, our nav system, the KNS80, is basically tuned into a fake VOR that we put on the airfield. So you can see it's 3 nautical miles away. So what we're seeing here, the difference between, this is the NAV1 DME, 63.5 nautical miles, and down here we have 66.0. So this is our virtual waypoint that's on the airport, on the airfield itself. This is the VOR that's a little bit west of there, so it's a little closer to us.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors. Visual runway 35 approach.
Visual runway 35 they just gave us. I think that was us. We're 87 Lima. So they said expect vectors for visual runway 35. So let's set up for that. So over here on the airport info, there is actually an RNAV approach for that. So if I bring that up, we can just get the final approach course, so we'll know the runway heading precisely. So here it says 354 in the top left corner. So runway 35, the heading is going to be 354.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 32 approach via Alpha Golf Charlie transition. Clear to Alpha Golf Charlie Alaska for 12.
So all we have to do is put in a course of, so we have to treat it like a VOR, but really with the VOR, I mean, all we have to think about when we put in the radial is what course do we want to fly. We're going to want to fly a course of 354. So, I mean, we're pretty far from the airport still. We're still 62 miles away. So once we get closer, and we'll need to descend as well.
American 258 for contact. Cleveland Center on 1 tree for decimal 9.
I think there's a VNAV feature in the GTN 750, I think. Let's check out the airport elevation. Elevation is 897, so call it 900. So let's call it 1900 for our pattern. Let's do 1,000 feet. 1900 or 2000. And then runway 35. So it's asphalt, 5,000 feet long almost, 75 feet wide. All right, so eventually we need to get down to about 2,000 feet. We're at 9,000 feet, so we need to descend 7,000 feet. So at 7,000 feet, in this, I think they said at least in our SimBrief profile, it said 800 feet per minute for our descent. So 7,000 feet at 800 feet a minute will take us about 9 minutes to get down there. Let's see, 9 minutes, and we have 58 miles to go. We are going 170 knots. So is that about two knots a minute? So 18 and 20. So let's give ourselves, I think we should start descending when we're at about 40 miles or so. Is that right? Let me see. I think there are VNAV tools in here. Waypoint info. Utilities, VNAV. Target altitude. 1,900 feet. Offset. Let's give it... Let's go 9 miles before our waypoint. 800 feet per minute. Before, and it's not telling us anything. So this isn't gonna... Huh. Does it put it on our map? Maybe it puts a top of descent on our map.
For Cessna 87 Lima. Cleveland
Oh, looks like I have some learning to do on this 750.
Lima, 9,000 feet.
Cessna November 1187 Lima, Cleveland Center altimeter 29er for continuous
Make more than one fake waypoint, have it ready to switch. Actually, you can, yeah. So down here, there's this little waypoint button. One of the buttons says use. And one says display. Oh, let me try to remember. I read this last week.
All 9er 15 contact Cleveland Center on 120.775.
Right. So as you hit display, it'll rotate through 4 memory banks over here. So I was on memory bank number 1. And here it's telling you which one is actually in use. Sorry, let's check our icing here. 7 degrees outside. I think we're okay. So yeah, what you basically get 4 memory positions. So as you hit display, it'll change this, and you can see up here the data that's being displayed is different. So this is basically preset number 2. It's still using preset number 1. So as you rotate through, you can say go to number 4. You can prep the data in advance here, so I could go ahead and change the data for number 4. And when I'm actually ready for it to use it, you just press the use button, and it'll change this use number to the one that you're currently displaying. So if I wanted to use waypoint 2, I would just hit display, so it says 2. Then I'd hit use, and it would be using number 2 instead. So yeah, I'm on 1 and using 1 right now. But yeah, you can store 4 different ones here. And then over here on the left, there are a couple other buttons. So we're using it in RNAV mode. Wow, what's the difference? I think the main difference between these two is how sensitive your deflection on your HSI is over here. Oh, it looks like I'm off. Hey, why are we off a little bit over here? Oh, our autopilot mode got turned off. There we go. Each one of these modes has 2 sub modes as well. So like RNAV has an en route mode and an approach mode. So if I hit RNAV again, it's going to toggle between the 2 modes. As I do that, let me hide this. If you look at the broken needle right here, our course deviation, as I hit that, oh, it's not changing. It should be changing to be more sensitive when it's on approach mode. The deflection changes to be more sensitive. So when I switch from en route to approach, this needle should be moving out further than it is right now. Let me try VOR mode. Okay, when it's in VOR mode, we're just using it as a normal VOR receiver. So without any of the RNAV, the virtual RNAV capability that we're using in this mode. So, oh right, and I don't have this on RNAV mode. That's why it's not working. Sorry. So let me switch really. Let me switch in a second here. I just want to wait till we get back on course. It's because I'm using the wrong HSI source. Sorry. So I have this in nav 1 still. When I switch to RNAV and we switch between these 2 modes, en route and approach, we'll see the deflection change here. So it's going to be, I think it goes from like, is it 2 miles? I have to look at the manual. I think it's like 2 miles for full scale deflection or 3 miles down to 1 or maybe 1/2 mile. So it basically just makes it more precise for when you're approaching. So you can just be a little more precise with the course that you're flying. Smoking signs are off, yeah. Just for you, Chris. Here. Look at that. Kept it off. To be honest, the ATC is distracting me so much right now. My brain is getting really distracted. It's just crazy how much there is right now.
Wisconsin tree 9er contact. Cleveland Center on 1 tree for decimal 9er. Good day.
All right, let's take a look here. So I should have started descending already. Let's see, we're at 41 nautical miles out. We're going to go down to 2,000 feet. I haven't done the descent in my head for so long either that I'm trying to figure that out. 800 feet per minute. So we're at 40 nautical miles away. Probably so let's give it ourselves 10 miles. So we want to descend within 30 miles. We want to descend 7,000 feet within 30 miles. And we're going about 2 miles a minute.
Report them in sight. 975 contact. Cleveland Center on 1 tree for decimal 475. Good day.
I'm going to cheat and use the top of descent calculator.
Flight level 325.
9,000 down to 2,000 feet at 170 knots. 3 degrees glide slope. And nautical miles, top of descent.
On 1 tree for decimal 9er. Good day.
Vertical speed 800 feet per minute.
1 tree for decimal 9er for air transport 3.
It's not giving me a calculation. What? What is this thing? All right, anyway, we just need to start descending. I have to learn to descend. Is it legal to turn off ATC? I mean, I think it's mattering where you are in the world. You could potentially fly even without a transponder. Yeah, I mean, I think it varies from country to country, but as far as I know, yes, there are situations where you can fly without talking to ATC, and also without even having a transponder that shows your location to ATC and other planes, which I think is crazy, but I'm pretty sure that there are situations where you can do that. Yeah, some vintage planes don't have a radio, right? What's crazy is that I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the US, like that a radio and a transponder is not even, like an altitude reporting transponder is not even required in certain areas. My partner mentioned that to me before. She was talking about that. I was like, I was just thinking, you're joking. Like, there's no way that's possible, right? Like, you still have to look to visually see if somebody's coming in to land on the runway you're about to land on at some untowered airport, and they're not, I guess, yeah, they could be not communicating at all, I'm pretty sure. Like, even with a CTAF frequency. F-15 escorts. Is it the transponder or is it just the radio? Maybe I'm mistaking it just for the radio then. Is it just that you don't have to talk to anybody with a radio, right? I mean, you guys know this stuff better than me. I don't know the real world the way a lot of you guys do. In Germany, I'm sure there'll be a few typhoons knocking at your windows.
Going to 128.1.
Maybe I'm confusing it with the radio, just that you could do it without a radio.
Cleveland Center Cessna November 1187 Lima is at
The voice is changing is weirding me out too. Okay, so let's use this RNAV. So we've used the RNAV system to put a waypoint on the airport we're going to already. I'm going to switch over to the RNAV source over here. And so the needle's going to change a little bit. So this is going to put us on a course to the airport instead. So I'm going to just rotate this. Just center the needle and put nav mode back on. So now this is going to turn us directly to go directly to the airport. So what we can do, they said to land on runway 35. And runway 35 is at a 354 course. So what I could do is put us on a 354 course. So if we switch over to heading mode real quick. Switch this over to a 354 course. So that's 354. So now we could fly this direction. Whoops, sorry.
Contact Cleveland Center on 134.475. Good day.
You don't have to wait to cross the VOR. The issue with this flight is just that the VOR is 3 nautical miles. Is 3 nautical miles from the airport. So as soon as we cross the VOR, we're pretty much going to be over the airport anyway. This example is not the greatest. Like ideally, we would be using a VOR that was further away from the airport, but in either case, we're basically taking that VOR and virtually moving it to be on top of the airport. So now when we use this as our nav source, everything we see for our course isn't based on the actual VOR. It's based on the airfield, the virtual VOR on the airfield. So I want to fly a course that aligns me with runway heading, and the runway heading is, what's it, 354? Is 354. So what I want to do is fly south of the airport, and then I'm going to approach it from the north, but what's weirding me out, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong here because, let's see, I have this set. I have this set on 354. Oh, I know what's confusing me, sorry. This confused me last time too. I was like, wait a minute, no, we're flying towards the course. So what this is representing is, this is showing us that we are off course as far as the runway heading. So if I just fly towards this and intercept this course, then we'll be flying runway heading. Once we've intercepted this, we're flying on this course. The reason why I'm getting confused is because this is not set in north up mode. I had turned this to heading up mode to get the wind data. So this is confusing me personally just because I'm used to using north up. I've been confusing myself by having it in heading mode. Oh, but we're north of the airport already, right? Because we have so the flag is wrong. So we actually need to fly parallel to it until we get a 2 flag, and then we'll be able to make a U-turn. So here, this arrow here pointing away from this arrow, this is giving us a from flag. We want to be flying, we need to fly towards the airport with a 2 flag instead. So it's basically telling us that we're north of the airport right now. So I'm going to parallel this going the opposite direction until we get the flag pointed on the side that the arrow is pointed on. This is good practice for me because I haven't been playing with VORs, especially like this virtual VOR as an approach forever without the aid of GPS. So thankfully I have the GPS here to show me when I'm making a mistake. Because if I kept flying that course, we would actually be intercepting the opposite direction. We would be flying the reciprocal course instead because we have the from flag. We need this arrow to be pointing on the other side. So this is showing me that I'm on the opposite side, that I'm north of the airfield instead of south of the airfield. So we just fly parallel to this until this flips, fly a certain number of miles away until we want to make our turn. And then when we make our U-turn and intercept this course inbound with this white arrow pointing to the same side as the yellow arrow, that's how we'll know we'll be heading towards the VOR on the radial I dialed in. Or on the course that I dialed in. Yeah, I was getting very disoriented because of having this in heading up mode. What's confusing is like this wind indicator was confusing me because it's pointing relative to the map orientation. So you have to like figure out relative to where you are, where the wind is, relative to your heading and all that. It's just a lot more work when it's in north up mode. But as far as the approach, north up mode is way easier to understand. They're just telling us to expedite our climb still because it's doing what ATC normally does. It doesn't know that we're pretty much if you're flying to like you're not flying in an instrument approach, it's not very helpful. I'm also just flying very low, but it's fine. We're gonna be at our pattern altitude way too early. I can see that. I think I just saw the airport light right there. And my brain is getting fried just thinking all the ATC talk and using something new. It's just crazy how disorienting it feels when you're not used to something. Yeah, we're going to be down way too early. We're still 14.5 nautical miles away from the airport. This is representing the airport. But ATC is also not going to tell us to... they're not going to tell us to descend. Sometimes I feel like sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but... The best experience I have with in-game ATC is doing instrument approaches because they'll actually, I mean, they're not going to vector you very well, but they'll at least give you the transition waypoint and give you your step down altitudes. So that part's nice. And let me look up what the deflection is on this. So in the manual, was it half a? Oh, 1.25. Here we go. So in VOR mode, we're using RNAV mode because we're doing the virtual waypoint thing. So when you're in en route mode, it's a 5 nautical mile full scale deflection, and when you're in approach mode, it goes down to 1.25 miles. For displaced VOR waypoint. So that's what we're doing is the displaced VOR waypoint, or like the virtual waypoint basically. So here, if I switch this, right now it's in en route mode. If I hit the RNAV button again, it'll switch to approach mode. It's actually fully deflected in both right now, so we can't see the difference. So once I get closer to the course, then we'll be able to see it. So full scale is 5 miles. So we actually want to bring this. Are there 5 tick marks? 2, 3, 4, 5. So each one of these represents a mile of deflection off course. So I want to bring it in to be within like a mile or two of the airport, probably a mile or so. So I need to bring this in to get it to this second tick right here. So let's fly this direction. Yeah, I haven't done this yet myself, even off stream, so I'm learning on the fly here too. It's been a bit. So yeah, 5 miles, and then once we turn around and we want to line up with the runway, we could switch it over to approach mode. You know, when we're within 1.25 miles. So then that means each one of these little white tick marks will represent 1/4 mile instead of 1 mile. All right, so we just flipped the flag, just flipped to from as we crossed over. So we're basically on the outbound side from that VOR now, that virtual VOR that we have set up. I'm just going to turn towards it a little bit more. The big test will be, like, as I get used to this myself, getting rid of the GNS 750, you know, like we would do if we're flying the Cessna 152 just with VORs. But this whole, it's kind of a new experience, like moving the VORs. I don't know, it's cool. It's a unique capability you have in this plane. All right, so I'm just going to keep going towards this course until we bring it into just a couple miles. I at least want to see this come in to know that we're closer to our course. So I could also do the equivalent over here using OBS mode. So if I want to dial in 394, or sorry, 354 over here, I can do that like this. All right, so there's 354. So basically this now represents what we're doing over here with the RNAV system. We're not using the GPS right now with the autopilot or anything, but this is basically the course that we're outlining over here on the HSI, and we're flying towards it. Hopefully no terrain pops up around here since I'm flying at my pattern altitude way too early. That's better for sightseeing anyway, it's fine. We got like a bridge up here. Or a dam, it looks like, I'm not sure. It's either a dam or a bridge. Probably a couple bridges. Alright, we're 9 miles away from the airport. Just gonna fly a little faster towards our course here. Alright, we're still 9 miles away. I'm actually not sure what this KT is. I thought it was our airspeed or something. Unless we have a crazy headwind, but I don't think we do. I mean, our ground speed is probably not 41 knots. I don't know what the KT is, and it didn't mention it in the manual. Nautical miles. I don't know. We're going like 120 something knots right now. Going pretty slow. 125, 130 knots. Oh, they're having us climb now. Alright, we can go ahead and climb a little, that's fine.
Cessna 87 Lima, you are 9 miles southwest of Kilo Papa Juliet Charlie. Turn left heading 050 climb and maintain 2,900 feet.
2,900 feet.
Turn left heading 050.
Oh, they're giving us
climb and
vectors,
maintain
what?
2,900 feet.
This is so weird. This
Cessna
never
87
happens.
Lima. Kilo Papa Juliet Charlie traffic Cessna November 1187 Lima 9 miles southwest inbound.
So they gave us like one vector, and then the AI, like the co-pilot ATC, just switched over to the CTAF frequency, but it's saying we're on final when we're not yet. But that was interesting that it actually gave us another vector. She told us to climb, but then she told us to fly a specific heading and descend to 2,900. So that's new. We were way off course here. I'm just still waiting to get on course. I should really just fly directly at the course at this point. This is just going to take forever. And we're 8 nautical miles away still. So we'll just have to get ready to land, basically. So you can see the airport lights right out there. So we'll see how accurate this is with the course that I've dialed in to line us up with the runway. I mean, it's going to be similar to doing a regular VOR approach when the VOR itself is on the airfield. With this computer, we're basically placing our own VOR right on the airport, right on the airfield for our use. All right, so now the deflection's coming in. So yeah, there we go. So it sounded like 3.5 miles off course. So what I could do now, or I could wait till I get a little closer. I'm going to do it now. Switch over to approach mode. So we can now see that the needle is going to jump further away. So it's going to get more sensitive. So each one of those dots, instead of being 1 mile, is now going to be 1/4 of a mile. So we can line up with the runway more accurately. This isn't our airport in front of us. Ours is to the left. Just start slowing down. But we're only 6 miles off from our airport. It says it was a concrete runway. I see it right there. And now actually if I switch over to nav mode, I can let it line us up because that course is already programmed in. And I'm going to start our descent a little bit here. All right, prop is full forward. Mixture is, or fuel condition is high. Landing lights are on. Pitot heat can come off now. It's actually much warmer, 21 degrees. So that didn't work at all. Look, it overshot it completely. It totally overshot it. We're off course completely now. All right, so maybe don't use autopilot to line up with the runway when you're this close. We're still 5 miles off. Could be that I just need to get closer before it'll work accurately. It says we're 4 miles away. I feel like we must be much closer or something. This thing is... Okay, there we go. I know, this is looking right. 3.8 miles. I just don't have it in sight at all yet. We're gonna be like right on top of it. This is it right here, isn't it? No, that can't... No, that's not it. I have the hardest time finding the airports, like when they're untowered. I don't even see a light. Is it down in this like little valley right here? .5 miles. All right, let's see if nav mode will... Oh, it looks like it's right there. Oh, there it is right there. It was just hidden right behind that hill. So yeah, the HSI is... I just got taken off course quite a bit just because of turning on nav mode. It brought me like... it brought me way too far to the left. Just off course. Just gonna have to dive. This is a really bad idea. We would just go around, but for the sake of time, I'm just trying to do a slip. It's not really as much of a thing in a high wing, right? Definitely had to dive down super fast to get this working. There we go. Okay, we're in beta mode. And off beta. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Man, I got totally lost. I mean, that was my mistake for trying. I mean, I was just testing out the nav mode. Switching into nav mode to get it lined up, and I was so close. Like, I was too close. I should have flown outbound a bit further, like maybe 12 miles or something like that instead of 9. Give me more time to line up. But for some reason, when I switched to nav mode on the autopilot, it overshot the course. It didn't intercept the course. So anyway, I'll try it again on the next flight. Hopefully we get a good VOR. Have a couple VORs en route we can use to land at the next airport. OnAir had an update. Yeah, mine updated today when right before the stream when I started it. So yeah, I don't know what they did though. I didn't look at the release notes. They do post release notes for each of the updates. So, all right, landing lights off, taxi lights on, strobes off, low idle, flaps coming up. That was a little bit of a sketchy landing there at the end, but it's fine. Pretend like I'm like bush flying or something. All right, let's go park and turn off the engine, get paid, and then find our next route. Yeah, I wanna try the RNAV system again. I should really, I don't know, maybe I should potentially embarrass myself, turn off the GPS completely for the next one. We can just get some VORs and navigate like that. That's like the true test of a wannabe sim pilot. Yeah, having the GPS, I mean, it is really nice that I can just switch between these. This is way less scary than this. This is much scarier. But we also are a little spoiled with like the DME and then this RNAV system. So even though not having GPS seems pretty intimidating, I mean, the technology we still have in this plane, even without it, is amazing. So can't really complain. And the weather was pretty good too. We had a little bit of rain, but that was fine. We didn't ice up or anything like that because it was super warm. It got to like, would it get to like 6 degrees maybe when we were at 9,000 feet? 6 or 7 degrees, but it didn't get any lower than that. Oh yeah, I said I would give away some on-air codes. I got to do that. Let's do 2 of those when I park here. If any of you guys want an on-air code, I'll just bring up the giveaway command in a minute here. Sorry, we're going to cut this truck in half with our wing here. Ooh. It's going to turn this way so it'll be easier to... Oh yeah, we have reverse in this. I always forget that we can use beta to reverse. Alright, that's off. Cut off. Prop. These off. Battery off. These off. Get credit in Microsoft Flight Sim for the flight? Maybe? Alright, let's turn everything but beacon off. Taxi lights off. Okay, seatbelt sign is off. It matters so much. Alright, sweet. And let's check the flight. Good. Very smooth landing. 1.07 Gs. I think I've gotten lower than that before. Alright, we made a little bit of money. Reputation went up a little bit. Alright, cool. And, oh, when it's orange like that, it means it's like loading or unloading fuel or passengers. All right, let me get the bot ready here. Microsoft stealing my mouse cursor again. All right, Nightbot giveaway. Keyword giveaway. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, yeah, the guys at OnAir gave me more keys to give away this stream and next stream, so I'll do 5 more if you guys want to try it for a month for free. Just type giveaway and then I'll roll it. Let's just do 2 of them now. Then we'll do another flight and then we'll do 3 more. And then call it a night after that. So if you just type giveaway in the chat, then it'll add you. Wait, is it not working? What's happening? Keyword. Okay, there we go. It's working. All right, 5 so far. We'll do a bunch of these. Hopefully all you guys that are active in the chat, most of you can get one before the end of the stream today. Actually, I'll just do 2 of them right now. That'll be faster. They gave me 10 more keys to give away, so I'll do 5 this weekend. I'll do 5 next. Oh, will I be around on Sunday? I think I'll be around on Sunday, yeah, to do it on Sunday. All right, let me bring up the giveaway thing so you guys can see me hit the button. All right, let's roll 2 of them. All right, man to M. Oh, Martin, you should get in for the next one. I'll do 2 in a row. All right, so Mandem is first. Congrats. Yeah, it's just a 1-month key for OnAir Company, so already sub for a year. Very nice of them. Yeah, they've been super nice giving keys away. Giving keys for me to give away. So Mandem, you can either email me or hop on Discord. Let me just get all the links ready for this. Yeah, you don't have to join the Discord server if you don't want to, but let me get a link for it in case you want to. It's not a requirement to do any of that. All right, so yeah, there's my email address. I wish I could just DM you on YouTube somehow because that would make it easier. All right, and then let's see. I'm going to unmark manned for the second one. Let me roll the second one now. Martin, you're number 2. So same for both of you. If you can hit me up on Discord and shoot me an email. Okay, yeah. The hard part actually with YouTube is that I can't... The only way for me to verify it's you is if I know like what email address it's coming from or something like that, you know? Like somehow I have to know that you're the one sending it and someone else isn't like, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but just to be safe. But you don't want to type your email address either. So yeah, I wish I could just like click you and DM you. But yeah, if you have Discord, then that's another way to do it too. I guess the easiest thing would be for me to email you, but you would have to type your email address in the chat, and that's not great either. So I don't know. I actually don't know the right way to do it. If you guys have any suggestions, but basically I need to, yeah, I should be the one emailing you or hitting you up on Discord, because then I know that that's your right username or your right email address, you know? Your Discord name isn't the same. Right. And then yeah, that's the problem. And there's no way to DM each other as well, you know? So, yeah, YouTube doesn't let you message people directly. That's the challenge. I think the only secure way to do it is not the best. And that would be for you to just tell me. You would tell me your email address or your Discord username, and then I would just send the code to that. Because then there's no way that someone else could like say Tabs is in chat. I'm sure he's super nice, right? But what if he was looking to steal the code? He would just send me an email right now that says, hey, I'm ManDM170. ManDM170, I won the code, and I wouldn't know that it's not him, right? So the only way for me to link to know it's you from the YouTube chat is if you typed like your email. I'm a code thief. Is for you to give me your email address or for you to give me your Discord username. Oh, leave a comment on their YouTube account. But then I would have to comment. I would have to leave the code on their YouTube account. And it has to be on a video, I think. Anyway. I think one way to do it is... Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty weird. Oh, 50-50 on Discord. Okay, great. See, that works perfectly. Another channel I know does giveaways, makes you send a screenshot of the YouTube studio. Oh, I see. Like with your account. Yeah, like with your account drop down open or something. I'll have to look into it. If I'm going to do this more regularly, maybe there's a better way to do it. Okay, I see you 50-50. All right. Sorry, just sending that code off to Mand, and then Martin, the same thing for you if you could. Oh, you sent an email. I mean, we're doing it live basically, so it's pretty easy for me to know it's you when we're doing it in real time like this. All right, yep, and I got your email. I'm going to reply in just a second here, and then we'll move on to the next flight. All right, Martin, I just sent that along. All right, sweet. 2 down. We'll do another flight, and then we'll do 3 more codes to end it. Maybe I'll do one en route if we get a longer one, and I'm not distracted by all the ATC chatter. All right. So you guys that got a code, all you have to do is go to the OnAir Company site. Just Google it. If you don't have an account, sign up for one. And under your My Account section, there will be just a field. You just put the code in to redeem it, and that'll give you a month for free. And thanks again to OnAir for giving some more codes. Just tell them your Discord name here. Yeah, Discord name's good. Yeah, I know some people don't really use Discord either. It took me a bit to get into it myself, actually. So, all right, sweet. Let's get our next flight going. If I can open it, it's so weird. My consistent complaint about the beta has been that it runs great when I'm in it, but for some reason, how it works with maybe it's a Windows 11 thing. It basically steals my mouse cursor and it makes it so I can't change apps. I can't switch from one app to another in Windows temporarily, and then all of a sudden it starts working again. So sorry for the delay. All right, I'm back now. Now I can use my computer again. All right, let's get this next route here. Oh, these both go to the north, so I might need either a slightly longer or slightly shorter route. Let's do 80 miles maybe. I have a bunch of filters set here at the top to get my preferred range, criteria for my route here. I kind of want to go over Manhattan, so I want to pick something that takes us directly east. Game mode enabled. No, I don't think so. I haven't changed any of my settings as far as, yeah, my graphics settings or my NVIDIA card or settings or anything like that. Oh, there we go. This one goes to Baltimore, it looks like. 194 nautical miles into, does that say Martin State? KMTN? I think it says Martin State. That'll get me really close to the East Coast. Oh, this is another one too. KMTD. This is Harrisburg. What's that, Pennsylvania? Oh, this one's better, I think. It's a little bit shorter too. The pay is not as good, but yeah, let's do this one. KPJC to KMT or KMDT, Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. I tend to keep it off. Oh, game mode. Yeah, I had that off. There's also some hardware acceleration features that I think I've turned off in the past too. Forgot you can go back in YouTube. I didn't win. Next time I will. Yeah, I'm going to do 3 more midday. So, I mean, there's only 27 people on right now, so you guys have a pretty good chance. And it'll probably take a couple hours if you need to go do some chores, come back in an hour or so, catch the end of it. Then, yeah, I'm going to do 3 more at the end of the stream. So 1 more flight. What do the green numbers mean? These, so there's 2 columns. Yeah, there's these like circular ones, and then there's these square ones. The square ones are the expiration time, so this job will go away. This column right here that I have it sorted by is basically your value, how valuable it is based on the distance and the time it'll take versus the pay. So it's like dollars per mile, basically. So these ones at the top, you're getting paid more for per distance covered as the ones at the bottom. So the one that I took was like the worst as far as pay per mile. So I like to sort by that. It just gives you, yeah, makes you the most efficient, I guess. But you can get really advanced with this stuff. I mean, especially if you fly a larger plane, but I've done ones where I don't do this on the stream because it might be kind of boring. Maybe I should do it next time. But what I would do is open up my criteria a bit more and say I'm going to end up, you know, over here in Maine or something, or New Hampshire. What I'll do is find a few legs and a few different sets of cargo or passengers that are headed the same direction, all originating from my current airport. So I would basically pick up 2 or 3 of these, you know, max out my payload by taking multiple jobs. So I would say I would take 2 different sets of passengers and 1 set of cargo, take 3 different jobs. And I know that even though they're not going to the first destination, they'll end up going here. So I'll make a multi-leg trip out of it. So I'll take off from here with all 3 of those jobs loaded. I'll drop off the first one here. Then I'll pull up another one that's headed in my general direction to the east to New Hampshire. So I'll just keep picking them up along the way. And that's actually what's nice about it having like the airport codes here and stuff like that. I have a bunch of filters in place, so I'm not seeing too many jobs, so it's easy for me to pick one. But I would loosen those filters up and try to maximize it, right? Try to take 3 or 4 jobs at once heading in the same direction and just really maximize my payload every time. Right now, I'm just grabbing 1 job. I'm using it, you know, as just kind of a route finder right now. So yeah, I could do that next week. What I could do on the next stream is, say we land over here in Pennsylvania. I'll try to find jobs up the coast to kind of maximize our payload, get a really heavy plane going. Because all the flights I've been taking now, we've only had like 600-700 pounds loaded. We can load like 3,000 in the Grand Caravan, so that might be more fun. It would be more challenging too, mattering the runways we're landing at and things like that. But yeah, you can get, and I mean, you can only imagine like how at a bigger scale, if you're flying an airliner or something like that, when you can carry hundreds of passengers and just, you know, tens of thousands of pounds of cargo. Yeah, you could just get really into making it as efficient as possible when you're planning out your routes and where you're going. All right, so let's go ahead and fly to Pennsylvania. All right, prepare the flight. I'm going to head over to SimBrief again and get a new flight plan going. Must be logged in. Really? I guess it just logged me out. Okay. All right, let me take care of that really quickly. Signing in with Navigraph again. Okay, we're back logged in again. There we go. All right, so let's check again. Departure. I am at KPJC. And going to Mike Delta Tango. Pick the 208. C208. I don't know if you guys know this. This is super nerdy, but whenever you can't see the drop down when I click it because of the streaming software, but whenever you have one of these, a super long drop down menu on a website, this is a total nerd pro tip that I don't think a lot of people know, but if you click it, all of the planes start with their code. Like you can just start typing. Once you've clicked it once, you can just start typing to jump to that. So I type C20 and it'll find the Cessna because it starts with C20. So if you're picking your state from a drop-down list, you could click it and I would start typing CA like California and it would jump to California in the list. It's a super totally not relevant to aviation thing, but I do that all the time. So if you hear me typing when I click that, that's why. Okay, and our route. Okay, cool. This is sweet. We got a Victor Airway here. So REC and HAR on the Victor 210 Airway. So this is a much more interesting flight plan than the one we had last time. Now, something that I've never done is I've never flown on a Victor Airway using like low en route maps and using VORs only and making all the turns myself. Because each waypoint along a Victor Airway could make a slight turn one direction or the other. Yeah, I've never done that. I've only used GPS to do that. So maybe I'll need GPS for this one. I mean, I'm at least for a reference. But what we would do is load the low en route chart. So if I go over to SkyVector and put this in, we could see what that looks like. KPJC. Let's do a new flight up here. KPJC to Mike Delta Tango. And then I'll paste in that route. And then we'll switch to the world's low VFR charts, the en route charts. Let me turn some of these layers off here. All right, so yeah, this is going to go on the Victor 210. So this is the VOR we use to get to the airport we're at now. This is where we are at Zelenople, something like that. So when we take off, the first thing it's having us doing is going direct to this right here, the Revlock VOR. So this is REC is the code. So Revlock VOR, and then we're going to join the Victor 210. And this outbound radial is the 105 radial outbound. So we'd be flying a course of 105. Then here you can see we're on the Victor 210. At the top there, it shows our altitude, basically. Our, what is that, the MOCA or the MEA? It's our like minimum en route altitude. So we have to be at least 4,500 feet. And when we're at that altitude, that gives us a guarantee that we're going to be within line of sight of the VOR itself. And then we're going to pass this intersection right here called Wilt, another intersection called Blink. And along the way, it's giving us miles here. So right here, this 3.6, that is our DME distance from this VOR. So that's how we know we're at this intersection, and then we're turning right at that intersection. So this is, I've never done this before where I have not used GPS to make a turn on a Victor Airway. But when we do get to that point, how we know we're there is that we're 36 DME from this VOR. So we'll be flying along there at 4,500 feet or higher. And then once we get there, and it's also showing the segments here. So these little numbers underneath, this is saying it's 24 miles from the VOR to the Wilt intersection. Then it's 12 more miles. You can see the 12 right here until we get to the Blink intersection. And that total DME distance, which is the one in this almost D looking outline on 36, those obviously 24 and 12 add to 36. That gives us 36 DME from this VOR, from the Revlock VOR. So that's that first segment. Whoops. So that'll get us to the Blink intersection. Once we're at the Blink intersection, we need to change over to use this VOR inbound. So we'll be on the Victor 210. This is 295 it's showing here. You can see it on the, that's the outbound radial. So we would do the reciprocal of that, which is 115. We'd be flying that inbound. And then again, we would be monitoring our distance along the way. So from here all the way out to here, so that's 28 miles and then 15 miles. So that's 43 miles. 43 miles DME will count down basically to 0 miles until we get there. So that's how we'll know when we pass this intersection at Mart. And then finally we get to that VOR. So once we get to that VOR, we're going direct to the airport. So right here, it's showing a calculated distance of 16 nautical miles and a calculated magnetic heading of 125. That may vary from the actual radial because the VORs can have a variation to them. They have to be like calibrated on a regular basis. Anyway, once we fly outbound from this VOR, this is the Harrisburg VOR, we'll fly outbound and get down here to the Middletown Airport, I guess, KMDT, which is our destination airport. So I think that would be pretty fun to fly doing this and using DME. Maybe even turning off the GPS and being scared about it. So, and the last thing I could do is if I look at the airport information for this airport, it does have instrument approaches available. So I don't know, we could end up getting one of those. But if we look at the airport information page, we can find right here, this is the more detailed information we would want for the, for flying from the Harrisburg VOR. So it's giving us the radial precisely here is 124. And then the distance, 15.5 miles. So we get more precise distance when we come and look the information, come and look it up here. All right, so I think that's that'll be fun. So we'll be referencing this during the flight since we're doing, I'll do the VOR navigation for this. And yeah, if you want this info, make sure if you haven't used the low or high en route charts before to use those instead of the World VFR. The World VFR charts, they're not going to show you the airway information always. In some like really dense areas, they might show the airways. Like here you can see this blue line right here is the Victor 10. But you'll notice it doesn't show an airway where our magenta line is. Oh, that's because it doesn't start till here. Okay, it does. Okay, it does actually show this one. Yeah. Sorry. So the Victor, we do see Victor 210 here, but what we don't see is the en route altitudes and the distances. So if you switch over to World Low Map, it cleans all that up, all that VFR information, and it gives us more information. So we have our minimum altitudes here, 4,500 or higher on this leg, and then we have all the DME distances. So, all right, let's. Oh man, it's getting dark. Oh no. What time is it? It's 6:40 p.m. Oh no, this is scary. All right, maybe we'll end up needing to do an instrument approach then. We'll see how this goes. All right, engine start. Let me try to blaze through this. Beacon light on, battery on, avionics 1 on, fuel boost. That's frozen. Fuel boost on, starter on. Waiting for the oil pressure to go up. Okay. Waiting for this to stabilize. All right. Give it fuel. Low idle. Oh, we're not getting fuel. Whoops. Because I closed the fuel valves up here. Great. All right. Let's introduce fuel again. There we go. ITT will go up and then come back down. Once it comes back down, I can turn the starter off. And fuel boost off. There we go. Which airport? We are at... I have to keep looking this up because we change so often. We're at KPJC. Papa Juliet Charlie. This is in... Are we in Ohio still? I forget what state we're in now. We're going to fly to Pennsylvania. I think we're still in Ohio. I'm probably wrong. Oh, we are in Pennsylvania. Okay, we're on the west side of Pennsylvania. And we're going to fly to the east side of Pennsylvania now, towards to Harrisburg International. All right. Cool. We're started up. Let's get our lights on. Just turn our nav light, taxi light on, strobe light. Put our flaps in the takeoff position. Let's bring our trim back to neutral. Goes right around there. There we go. All right, and then avionics 2 can go on. And then we need to reset the generator. Make sure the battery's charging. That's good. All right, and then let me load the passengers. And then I didn't check the fuel. Got distracted with the route. Sim brief. There we go. Generate flight plan. Turn this cheesy music up a little. Beautiful. All right, so we're going on the Victor 210. So we're going directly to the REC VOR, then the HAR VOR. There's REC right here. All right, so the first VOR is 110.6. Let me do the fuel first. 1256 for our fuel. So let me fuel it up here. 1276. All right, validate fuel. So I'll just start loading our fuel and... Oh, wait, I didn't do the weight. 922 pounds. 922 pounds is 0.46, so let's call it 0.5 tons. Let me go back and put in 0.5. Oh, doesn't want me to. Let's try this. There we go. 0.5 tons, 0 passengers. Just want to be paranoid, make sure that the fuel calculation is correct. Derek says, have you tried to graphically edit the flight plan from the map view? No. Can you do that? I know you can click on waypoints and get more info, but I didn't know that you can edit the flight plan. Night Shader says, I live in the Netherlands. I always... Flight weather T for the Netherlands. I'm not sure I follow. Sorry. T for the Netherlands. N for Netherlands. H for Holland. Oh, you mean... I'm not sure I follow. Sorry. It's fine until you need to put your country and have a guess if they want England, United Kingdom, or UK. Like, USB sticks always seem wrong. I think I'm behind the chat too much that I forget what we were talking about. Sorry. Okay, let's check the fuel again here. All right, 1250. So I didn't need quite as much fuel, but that's fine. We're fine. We just have like 20 pounds more fuel than we might need. Pan the view on the map. You can graphically, you get an edit button is displayed where you can edit the path. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. You have to update flight sim every time. I mean, better than never having to update it. Man, should I fly with live time or roll back the time? How long is this flight going to be? It's probably going to be a little more than an hour. I mean, I guess we'll land at night. We'll see how it goes. What I could do is there's a little drop down here. I can offset the time if I want to by a couple hours, but let's risk it and do a nighttime landing. We'll see how this goes. All right, that's all good. We're going to start tracking. So you probably didn't see it, but I could see the fuel gauges just move up. So right here out of the corner of my eye, I could see these actually move up when I hit start tracking. So that's how I know that that OnAir added the weight. All right, reset our transponder. See what it recommended for our cruise. 7,000 feet again. We don't have to go to 7,000 though. So when I looked at the route here, so we have to be at 4,500 on this way, and then our minimum is 4,000 going along here. And then after that point, the ones around it are between 3,000. From that point, we're gonna have like an instrument approach probably. Into this airport. This is a slightly larger airport than the ones we were at before. There's actually several instrument approaches here. There's an ILS on 2 different runways. So this is a larger airport than we've been landing at during the streams. And I think actually we can use an ILS with the RNAV. So maybe I should do that as keep the GPS off and use see if I can get there without GPS. This is a big test. I haven't done this in so long. All right. So the plane's all loaded up. It's started up. We have our cargo on. We have our fuel going. Let me just turn this off. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put in our first VOR. So the first thing we're doing after we take off is going direct to this VOR right here, the Revlock VOR. So that's 110.6. So let's dial that in up here. 1106. Okay, that's active. And then I'll go ahead and turn on nav 1 just so we can hear it. We'll hear the Morse code when it comes in range. Our second VOR after that is right here, Harrisburg VOR 112.5. So I'll put that in the standby. All right, I'm going to do the same on nav 2 just for redundancy. We'll put in 1106 activate and 1125 on the standby. And then I might as well put it on this bottom one as well. We'll get DME over here. So this third one, we will use this for the approach. We'll use it the same way we did on the last one. So we'll find the airport. We'll see if they give us a visual approach or not, but either way, I want to use this again to... actually, I'll just set it up now. So what we can do, I explained this on the first flight, but let me run through it again. This KNS-80 thing that's in this Grand Caravan, the analog Caravan that I'm using, it basically lets you put a virtual VOR somewhere based on an existing VOR. So it's almost like a, I don't know, it almost feels like a primitive GPS. So we have this VOR that's near our destination airport, the Harrisburg VOR. So what I can do is I can tune into the Harrisburg VOR here, 112.5. We're not near it now, so it's not going to show up, but I'm going to set up the data first. So we have the frequency in. Now I'm going to put in, I can put in a radial and a distance. So if I put in the correct radial and distance, I'm going to basically put a virtual waypoint, basically virtually moving the VOR to be at this airport. We can see that there isn't a VOR at this airport. It does have an ILS, so it has a localizer. So we could use that if we do the ILS approach. But if we didn't and we were just using, just flying ourselves, we had a visual approach or we're doing a non-instrument approach, I could basically put, it's almost like a poor man's GPS. I'm going to put a waypoint there, but it's based on the VOR. So we can just do that by, if I look at the info for that airport, we can just find the info we need. So this shows us how far away the Harrisburg VOR is from the airport. So I get the radial and the range I need right here. So the radial is 124 and the range is 15.5 miles. So now here I can put in that radial. So I use this button to switch to radial. So I'll put in the radial of 124. And then I'll hit data again and it says distance, and we'll put in the distance of 15.5 miles. So you use the big and the small knob here to put in the 1 and then the 5. To get the decimal in, you push the inner knob. It kind of pops out and that lets us change the decimal point. And then I'll push it back in. There, so 15.5. So that's all set up. So what this is going to allow us to do when it's in RNAV mode, which it is down here, this will let us pretend like there's a VOR right at the airport when there isn't, and we can use that to navigate. So once we get up, we'll see that distance. We'll see our DME information here, estimated time. And then if we want to use that, we use this switch right here. So we can, instead of using nav 1 on our HSI over here to set our course and intercept the needle, we can switch this to RNAV. It's basically our third navigation radio in a way, since we have 1 and 2 here. But we can use either 1 or we can use RNAV. So we'll use the RNAV computer, and that'll basically put a VOR virtually at the airport. And then we'll use our course to fly to the airport if we need to. We may end up doing a virtual, doing an instrument approach, mattering the weather and what they assign us. So we'll see how it goes. Whew, okay, that was a mouthful. All right, let's check our weather.
Kilo Papa Juliet Charlie automated weather observation.
Flaps down already.
Wind calm. Visibility light and heavy rain.
All right, calm.
Sky condition ceiling 1,800
1,800 feet broken clouds. That's AGL.
10C altimeter 2993.
2993. All right, so I set it on the autopilot.
Automated weather observation
Set it over here on this.
Wind calm.
All right, we're good. Rob said we might have 1 or 2 minor tweaks we want to make to this build. Oh, plan is to release the 737-800 between the 23rd and 31st of August. That's cool for you guys that fly the airliners. Hey, Deuce, how's it going? Can I do a full NXI tutorial now that it's complete? Oh, like covering all of the buttons and everything in one video? Oh, man. I guess I could. That would, man, I feel like that would take a really long time. I'm on West USA. Yeah, Ivan, but I'm using the beta. So unless you're also on the Sim Update 10 beta, you will not see me. The beta and the full release, the beta is public, but if you haven't opted into it, then we won't be on the same server, unfortunately. All right, let's get some of these lights on here. There's a cargo version as well. Oh, of the 737. That's cool. I mean, it's a bummer. I don't know if you guys heard, but on Discord, somebody told me they had heard that Sim Update 10 was delayed. There's no date for it yet, as far as I know, but in the developer Q&A that Microsoft did this week, they said they were delaying Sim Update 10. At least 2 weeks. He said 2 or more weeks, so I assume it'll be more than 2 weeks. It was supposed to go out on Tuesday this week in a couple days, but it's going to be more than 2 weeks. So that's another reason to opt in for Sim Update 10, I think, for the beta. All right, let's see. That's all set up. We're good. We can just pick whichever runway we want, I guess. There's only 2 runways, or the single runway here. So we'll just take off in the direction that's favorable for us. So that would be heading east. And let's go ahead and I need to dial in our first leg of the route to our first VOR. So I did put in the frequency, but I need to put in the course we're going to fly. So it looks like the estimated course is 112. All we have to do is just fly directly to the VOR. So to do that, I would just need to rotate this until the needle is centered with a 2 flag. It's not in range yet. It will be once we take off. Then we'll be able to just center up the needle and fly directly to it. But it looks like it's estimating it'll be about a 112 heading. So 112 is right around here. So that makes us take off in this direction. So we'll use the runway to the left here. All right, taxi lights on. Pitot heat's off. Parking brake is off. All right, I have reset our trims already. Our taxi light is on. Let's put inertial separator back on. And we'll go left here. Windsock looks dead. So we'll go back, taxi to the other side of this runway here, and take off to behind us to the right will be the direction we're flying. And the lighting is starting to look awesome right now. I wish you could just set permanent sunset mode or something like that. Just the time doesn't change, but the weather does. It just locks the time in. So when we depart, we're going to make a slight left-hand turn. It's cool. This thing has a radio or radar altimeter, whichever way you want to say it. Here it says radar altitude, but it has a radar altimeter right there. It's funny how the NXI calls it a radio altimeter. This plane calls it radar altimeter. I mean, it's the same thing. It's all radio waves, I guess. Hey, Hondo, what's up? You have flight assist, but no AI control? Are you asking how to turn it off? If you have the flight assistant, if you go to the flight assistant menu up here, you can turn off all sorts of options here. I use the ATC one every now and then, but if you're trying to disable everything, I would first start in this flight assistant and turn off all the AI stuff here. Another thing you could do is go to your main menu like this. For me, I hit escape, but you could go to assistance options here and go down and make sure that all these are, there's a lot of stuff here under piloting. So you have like auto rudder, assisted yoke, all this kind of stuff. You could turn all that off too. There's just those two spots are the places to check for your settings. And the sunset is so awesome. Oh, you want the auto checklist that and the voice you had. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, just go ahead, hit escape or go to your main menu. It's under assistance options and then under piloting. It's right here. It's called assisted checklist. I normally use this. I can't use this with the plane I'm flying. It doesn't really integrate with it. So I'm not using it right now. But yeah, this is where you turn it on, hit apply, and then go and reopen your checklist, and then you'll have those options. Yeah, I love the assisted checklist, especially when I'm off the stream or, you know, I'm just not, I don't want to do everything by the book. Arguably, I don't do a lot of things by the book anyway, but yeah. In my opinion, you know, I mean, unless you're like trying to train for real world stuff and use this to supplement your training, obviously then you would be taking it very seriously. Or, you know, if you're using VATSIM and stuff like that, you kind of naturally have to take it more seriously. But I definitely just flip the serious switch off a lot of the time and just make it easy for me, have fun. You know, if I'm trying to get across the world or something and I want to also go in the kitchen and make a hamburger for dinner or something, like I'm gonna turn on AI and turn on auto mixture and unlimited fuel and let myself do that. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. Something else I want to get is that, so the same company, the same devs that make this analog Caravan, they make replacement taxiway diagrams. It's pretty expensive, but it looks really, really nice. I'm tempted to get it. I think it was like $50 US or something, but I really want to get them. They like have accurate taxiway signage, and they have it for a few regions. I think there's one for the Americas maybe, and one for Europe. And then they have a bundle. Maybe it's only North America, but they have a couple. At least one in the States and one in Europe. All right. So we're going to eventually make a left-hand turnout here. I set the autopilot to 7,000 feet. Prop is full forward. Let's go high idle. And I reset the trim already. Our flaps are in takeoff position. All right, we're good. We're already fueled up and everything. So we're going to take off, and then we're going to turn out to the left a little bit once we're up. And we're at 900 feet on the field, so we need to be up for 1,300 feet before we make our turn. All right, I'm watching my torque, which is the leftmost instrument at the top of the panel. You can see it going through the green right now. With this plane, I need to make sure that it doesn't get in the red line or I can damage the engine. 45 knots. We're already at 50 knots. And we're up. This thing takes off so fast. I think it might be because of some of the modifications on this plane compared to the regular Grand Caravan, the stock one, but yeah, this thing gets up really, really fast. There's 200 feet AGL. I can see the radar altimeter right down here. 350, 400 feet, 500 feet. All right, I'm going to make my turn out to the left here. And we're over 95 knots, so I'm going to put the flaps up. Oh, it has a faster cruise, really? I'm just turning a little bit more here. We're just turning out to roughly the direction we're going to be heading to get to that VOR. I mean, we can get to it from anywhere, obviously. We can just center the needle up and fly directly to it. I'm having a hard time seeing. I need to turn the lights on a little more here. Where is the bug? Oh yeah, I'm a little to the right of it. Or to the left of it. All right, autopilot on, heading mode on. Vertical speed, whoops, not nav mode. And vertical speed mode. I hate how it resets our altitude. Alright, there we go. Alright, now let's center up for that first VOR. It's actually not in range yet. I'll double check the frequency in a second. Alright, let's talk to ATC.
Pittsburgh approach Cessna November.
And while we're doing that, let me double check the frequency for this VOR. 110.6.
2,800 feet. Request flight following.
Alright, 110.6 on both of them.
Squawk 2162.
And we don't hear it yet, so we're not in range of it just yet. We need to get higher, so it could be a line of sight thing. Alright, 2162.
Cessna 87 Lima.
2162.
87 Lima radar contact. 3 miles west of Papa November 163,300 feet. Altimeter 29.93.
Alright, 29903. That's is that the same that we had?
Roger, Cessna 87 Lima.
Let's double check that. Yeah, that's the same that we had. Alright, and now let's... Oh, I don't have GPS flight plan put in, so I can't request IFR clearance. So if I want to do that, let's see if we can get on course first. Alright, yeah, still no DME information, so we're not quite close enough to pick up that VOR yet, or we're not quite high enough. The en route portion here did have us say afterwards to be at 4,500 feet, so... Oh, there it is. Did we just pass 4,500? Yeah, we just passed 4,000, so now you hear the Morse code. We can identify it. So that's right. Short, long, short, short, long, short, long, short. So that matches. So we're tuned into the right one. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off nav1 monitoring. Hey, Steve, what's up? Yeah, this is live now. How's it going? All right, so we're tuned into the right VOR. So what I can do now is just center up the needle here. So I'm just going to turn this until it centers the needle. And then I'm going to switch over to nav mode. And so that's just going to follow that course. It's going to go directly to the VOR. So we have a 2 flag right here. On this HSI, the 2 flag is right here. It's this white arrow. If this white arrow is at the bottom side of it, that would be our from flag. If it was opposite of the yellow arrow. So when the yellow and the white arrow are on the same side, we have a 2 flag. So we are headed towards that VOR now. We're 57 miles away from it. So once we cross that VOR, we're going to need to make our first turn. So this is where we are right now. We just took off up here near this blue dot. So we're probably, you know, we're around here or something. We're just taking off or over here, whatever. We're 50 something miles away from this point, the first point right here, this VOR, the Revlock VOR. Once we cross over the VOR, we're going to need to join the Victor 210 at least 4,500 feet. We're going up to 7,000. I'm going to pass that by the in-game ATC in a second. So once we cross over, we have an intersection up ahead. So we're not going to another VOR. We're going to an intersection between 2 VORs. And the way we measure that is just through the DME distance. So it shows those distances here. Right here, 36 miles. When we're at 36 miles from this VOR, once we've crossed over it, then we'll know that we're at the blink intersection. And then we'll know we need to make a turn to the south here a little bit. We're going to turn right slightly to head over here to the Harrisburg VOR as our second waypoint. And then from Harrisburg, we're going to land at this airport over here to the southeast. We're going to do that using this RNAV computer right here. All right, so we're en route. So we're 54 miles away from that first VOR. All right, we're almost at 7,000 feet already. We don't have permission from ATC to do anything. Yeah, I mean, we could just go up to 7,500 right now. Why don't I do that just to be a little more realistic? So 7,500 would be a good VFR altitude. When you're heading eastbound, you do odd in the thousands, and you tack on 500 to make it VFR altitude. So 7,500 will be a realistic VFR altitude heading eastbound. All right, so I'm going to cheat a little bit by turning on the GPS because the only way to get an instrument, an IFR clearance is by doing it. You have to program the GPS first. So let me program the GPS really quickly. And then I'll turn it off. This has our old flight plan in it, so I'm going to go back to the flight plan and get rid of this. Menu, delete. All right, let's set our origin again. And let me go back to Sky Vector because I have it up here. So KPJC. Our arrival is going to be Harrisburg International, Mike Delta Tango. You can see why there are a couple different 850s. This is the PMS version. PMS 50 is the developer. There is another one available too that I haven't used yet. All right, they just told us to switch to 1212.
121.2 for Cessna 87 Lima.
Click. Contact.
Johnstown approach Cessna November 1187 Lima 7000.
Oh, leveled us off at 7,000 still. It's vertical speed up to 7,500. Check our outside air temperature, 11. Yeah, PMS. Yeah, the developer of this GTN is, the developer's name is PMS 50. He actually made a 530, 430 mod way back in the day too that I've used quite a bit. He added some cool pages to it, like traffic page and the VNAV page and stuff like that. Let's add the other ones in here. So REC, so that's the Revlock VOR. So let's add that waypoint. I'm just doing this. We're going to use VORs, but I'm just doing this so ATC knows where we're going and they can, they'll have our flight plan. And then HAR, that's the Harrisburg VOR. That's our last waypoint. And Harrisburg. All right, so now that that's in there, what I can do is just turn that off. I'll go back to no GPS. And then I should have the ability to... Oh, I don't. Where is it? Oh, man. Maybe we're not going to get a... Oh, I know. I think I know why it is. We're on with an approach controller. Whoa, toxic farts. Dude. Oh man, it looks so good right now though. All right. We got our wingman with us. Toxic farts. Beautiful. So I think the bug is don't let him get in front of you. Dude, too late. All right, switching us to Pittsburgh approach. I think there's a bug where unless the controller has the word center in it, like it's like Pittsburgh center instead of an approach controller, I don't think it lets you request the IFR flight plan clearance or whatever, your IFR clearance. I think it's just a bug.
Cessna 87 Lima, did you copy?
All right, I'll go 12475.
124.75 for Cessna 87 Lima.
All right, swap that over. Contact Pittsburgh approach.
Cessna November 1187 Lima 7,500 feet.
Cessna November 1187 Lima, Pittsburgh approach altimeter 29.96. Continue as planned.
All right, 2996. Oh, we can do it now. There we go. IFR clearance.
Pittsburgh
Nice.
Approach Cessna November 1187 Lima 1 miles northwest.
All right,
of
2996.
Zero Papa November. 1 request IFR
41 miles
Harrisburg
DME
ready to copy.
from the first waypoint. So once we cross over, we'll make our turn. All right, 2162. Look, we got a beautiful DA62. That is the DA62. Yeah, it is. I love that livery too. That like black metallic livery is so cool. All right, read that back. So now they know they're going to give us give us our IFR clearance.
Squawk 2162.
See how high they let us go?
Cessna 87 Lima, read that correct. Radar contact.
13,000.
7,500 feet. Altimeter 29.96. Continue to Romeo Echo Charlie turning and following heading 110. Proceed on course climb and maintain
Heading 110?
13,000 feet.
110 seems a little too far left, but they also said proceed on course. Climb and maintain 13,000, so let's do that.
110, resume own navigation climb and maintain 13,000 feet Cessna 87 Lima.
Cessna 87 Lima, contact Cleveland Center on 128.45. Good day.
Yeah, Steve, if you wanna try to catch up, you can. You know, actually, did they fix the VFR map? I don't think they did. I don't know if you guys have the beta. Those of you with the beta, if the VFR map broke for you, maybe this is because I have the 750 installed, but it's not working for me, so it's not easy for me to find the nearest airports. I could use the GPS to find it. But Steve, if you want to join, you can. It might be hard to catch up, but you have to be on the Sim Update 10 beta, otherwise we won't see each other. And I'm on the USA West server.
Cessna 87 Lima, please acknowledge.
It works for you. Okay, it could be a thing with the PMS 50 then. It is the 750. Okay. All right, let me just. I'm gonna turn on our co-pilot AI assistance for ATC for now.
Lima, Cleveland Center altimeter 29.997. Continue to Romeo Echo Charlie as planned.
In the beta for some reason didn't see you. Are you on USA West on the multiplayer server? I found you on USA East? No, I should be on West. Oh, whoa, that's weird. Oh no. That's strange. Whoa, how is my ping? I'm in California. My ping should be higher on West. Sorry about that. Could you, I think you might be able to do this and switch over to Nightwolf if you're toxic farts. If you want to switch to West, I'll just switch it here. Hopefully that'll fix it. My bad. I didn't, for some reason it's giving me East even though I am West. The ping is, I guess the ping is higher on West for some reason right now. Weird. And then, yeah, let me check really quick to see what's nearby here. Switch on the GPS temporarily and take a look at nearby airports. So we departed from KPJC. I'll just type this in the chat for reference. Nearest is KLBE, is kind of close. And then we are going, I'll just put in the whole flight plan. It's just a few waypoints. And then we're going REC to HAR to KMDT. So there's the flight plan I have in. Yeah, sorry, I need to get in a better habit of mentioning this to you guys so you can join along if you want to. I know it's a little weird time since not everybody's on the beta, but... all right. Let me see if there are some other nearby smaller airports too. Here's KIDI. K-I-D-I is right in front of us. So that'll probably be the closest one. I'm 14 miles from KIDI and it's right on the route. That is Indiana County Stewart Airport. All right, let's turn that off now. I don't want anybody to yell at me for looking at GPS. All right, we're over 10,000 now. We're almost at 11,000. Landing lights are off. Let's check our temperature, 3 degrees Celsius. All right, pitot heat's coming on. Let's make sure everything else looks good. We need a little more torque, a little more power here. Okay, just double check my flaps. I was like, uh-oh, I definitely put those up, right? All right, everything is in the green. 600 pounds of fuel on both sides. Give it a little more torque. Let's get up to 3,000 feet a little bit faster here. Oh, I see you now, Ivan. And if you want, you might need to map keys for it, but you can use time acceleration if you set that in the settings. You have to go into your controller settings and look up sim rate, I'll type it in the chat, but it's called like increase sim rate and decrease sim rate. If you find the shortcuts for those, you can set those. I set mine to like control plus and control minus on my keyboard. And if you tap that once or twice on the plus side, it'll accelerate you to like 2x and then 4x. And then remember to tap it twice again. Whatever you go up, make sure you go down once you catch up. But that'll be a quick way to catch up if you want to. Dude, this looks so good. It's beautiful. Let's check our distances again. All right, we are 26 nautical miles from the first VOR. Let's mess with these lights a little bit here. Check our cabin temperature, 76 degrees inside. I left the bleed air heat is on. We have this little temperature control here. It's a little too warm. I don't know. 76 is all right. So we're good here. Now we got to take in that sunset while we can. All right, so we're about 20 miles from the first VOR, so that's going to put us... Oh, you know what I should do is just use Navigraph so I don't have to keep switching out. Whoops, that's the GTN. Uh-oh. I actually didn't mean to click that. I'm worried it's going to break something. All right, here we go, Navigraph. And this is another good reason I put it in to the GPS, even though we're not going to use the GPS, is just I can load the flight plan by hitting load flight plan. All right, let's go to low en route charts. All right, so here we can just monitor. I mean, this is a little cheating since we have the moving map, but this is basically what I'm looking at when I bring up Sky Vector to see where we're at. Yeah, so we're approaching the Revlock VOR right here, and oh, so it doesn't have. Oh, I didn't program in the Victor Airway. Oh, that's fine. So we're gonna fly on the Victor 210. So as soon as we hit as soon as we get here, this doesn't show the DME though. And this is not as useful actually. I'm gonna use Sky Vector instead. So here, as soon as we hit this, we're gonna make that right-hand turn. Oh, whoops, back here. So as soon as we hit this, we're gonna make a slight left-hand turn. So what we're gonna do is switch to the 105 radial outbound. It shows 105 right there. And we're gonna fly on that radial for 36 miles. And that's how we'll know that we're at the blink intersection right here. Once we get there at that intersection, that's where we're gonna turn right slightly to stay on the Victor 210, and then we're gonna be heading directly to the Harrisburg VOR right here. This also shows the radial. Remember, the radials are relative to the VOR. So we're gonna fly the opposite, the reciprocal of this course on this leg. So we're gonna fly the 115 instead of the 295. But for now, we're still right around here. We're heading inbound to the Revlock VOR. As soon as we cross over, we're gonna switch to the 105 radial outbound. That sounds so good. And just like that, Toxic Farts, thankfully, is gone. Is not close to us anymore. Alright, so this altitude that ATC assigned looks pretty good. We're just staying clear of all the clouds here in front of us. Check our distance again. We're at 13 nautical miles. So here on the course, when I selected our course, I didn't pick any particular course to go to it. I just centered the needle with the 2 flag to make sure we're going directly to the VOR. And we are in nav mode, so once we get closer, I'm going to switch back to heading mode. Just because the autopilot, I mean, it probably won't get confused. It should be able to anticipate, like the cone of silence we're in, like it won't know what radial we're on or where we want to go when we're flying directly over the VOR. So to be safe, I'm going to switch to heading mode as we're flying over it. And then I'll use the heading bug to turn us a little bit. Wait until we get a little bit away from it, dial in the new course, and then switch back to navigation mode on the autopilot. Engine condition is still good. Toxic boom. No sonic boom from toxic farts. I mean, I could jump in my Eurofighter and hunt him down if you want. I mean, I can't stop you. I'm just a lowly cargo pilot here in a 208. I'm not allowed to fly the jets. I don't have the endorsement. If you could imagine if you could just take a check ride in a jet as just a GA pilot. All right, let's check our temperature. 8 degrees, 8.8 nautical miles away. We're making good time. I forgot that I had this already set up as well, so I could just turn this as well for redundancy. Just center this. Both of these are tuned into the same VOR. So we are still going to use the current VOR. What is it called? Revlock. So on this outbound leg, we're going to change over to... we're going to switch over... Or we're going to stay on the Revlock VOR. We're just going to change our course to 105. So if I look down here on our HSI, our course is around 120. It's probably like 116, 117, around there. Oh, sorry, no. It's more like 102. Yeah, it looks like it's about 102. We're going to switch it to be 105. So we're not very far off, but we do want to fly precisely on the Victor 210 Airway. So that's why we'll change to use that. Your game broke? What, did it crash? I haven't had a crash myself yet. Maybe I've just been getting a little lucky. All right, we are still just holding 13,000 feet. I guess I should have turned the oxygen on. Turn our flashlight on. Is it? I think it might be required if you have passengers, but not if you don't until like 5,000. I don't know. Let's turn it on anyway. The flashlight, if you're on PC, is Alt L. If you ever need the flashlight, if you don't have any lighting in certain spots like this. There probably is. Oh, these are overhead lights, aren't they? No. Oh, that's vent. There are overhead lights up here. Where are they? Pretty sure there are. That's the visor. Does this thing have any cabin lights? I know I have the cabin lights, but I don't know if it has ones just for up here. They're probably on the main lights down here. Let's see. These are all panel lights, I think. We're 75 degrees in here. All right, 2.2 nautical miles. All right, I'm going to switch to heading mode right now as we pass over the VOR. And then we're going to change our course here. Outbound course is 105, so we just dial in 105 because it's outbound. All right, you can see that we just lost our DME because we're flying over the top of it right now. And it'll come back, and then we'll have a from flag. So it's going to flip around to show a from flag in a second. All right, there's the from flag. So now what we want to do, and we have DME back, so this number is going to go up now that we're going away from the VOR instead of towards it. So now we just need to dial in our 105 outbound radial. So there is east, that's 105 right there. And now I can just turn my heading bug towards it a little bit. And then over here, I'm going to turn in 105 as well. 105. And then I'm going to switch to nav mode. Just let it fly and intercept our new outbound course here. So with VORs, just remember what you're turning in, what you're dialing in at the top is the course that you want to fly. What course do we want to fly? We want to fly 105. 105 is the radial that we happen to be on. Once we're inbound to this VOR, though, so on this VOR, if we were coming in from the opposite direction, we would have had a similar course, right? Like say 116. Our course was 116, but technically the radial we're on, because they radiate from the VOR, it would be the reciprocal radial of that. But if you just always think of the course you want to fly as what you're dialing in, then it's less confusing. It is for me, at least. If I start thinking about what radial I'm actually on, then I get more confused. I just need to keep remembering, like, oh, I'm flying east, so there's no way I'm going to dial in like a 270 radial, a 270 heading. I might be on the 270 radial, but I'm heading east. Like, what's important is the course I want to fly. So now what we're going to do, our next waypoint here is Blink. So at Blink, we're on this airway, the 210, and it makes a turn here once we hit this intersection. And that happens at 36 DME. So right here, when we get to 36 on our DME, that's when we need to switch over. So it's at 7 right now, so we're waiting for 36. What is my tag? It's KIP space OTG, like KIP on the ground. I'll type it in the chat. KIP OTG, KIP on the ground. All right, let's check everything here. 8 degrees outside. 0 degrees outside now. Pitot heat is still on. We're not flying into any precipitation that we can tell. I'll have to figure out how to get this guy working properly. There's something I'm not doing correctly with it, where we don't get the right fidelity here. Like if I go, let's see. Oh, it says it's off. Okay, I guess we don't have any precipitation. So it does this, and then it does this. And I don't know how to fix that second part. There's some setting I need to dial in or something. Do I just like need to turn it until it's clear or something like that?
121.2.
All right, co-pilot's taking care of switching to 1212. There she goes.
Cessna November 1187 Lima 13,000 feet.
Yeah, I've tried all these buttons. Nothing seems to work. This will let us like show a track, like if we want to figure out what track we need to turn to get away from certain weather, but I don't know what this this tilt stab thing does. And I can't push any of these buttons either. Yeah, I'm not sure. If anybody knows how to use this thing, let me know. I clearly do not. Alright, so we're trekking along. So we're headed to our next waypoint. We're at 12.3 DME. And we need to wait for 36. And I don't, let's see, is this on, let me see if I can get this more precise. This is 90. That's 100 right there. 105. Okay, yeah. I was just off a little there. So we're on the right course. We're tracking the 105 radial outbound right here towards the Blink intersection. When we hit 36 DME, we're going to have to switch over to this VOR, the Harrisburg VOR. We can see that all of these distances, too, are based off the Harrisburg VOR. So from here, it shows 15, and then it shows 28. Because of this like broken line here, how it's like a T end. That's showing us that these distances are based off of this VOR, not the previous VOR. This is a solid line all the way until here. It's solid through here. But here, as soon as that end happens, it's got that T shape at the end. That's telling us that it's not using the distances after that point from that VOR. It's switching to a new one. So right here, this is all based on this 28 miles and 15 miles is based off of the Harrisburg VOR. So if we add those up, 28 and 15, we get 43 miles. So once we tune in, we should see 43 or fewer miles. It's not as big of a deal because we don't have to do anything from here until that VOR. We just need to get to the VOR. So we don't precisely need to know the distance. It'll be counting down from, 43 miles down to 0 or, 2, whatever, once we get close enough. But right now we do need to remember to look at DME distance because we need to get to 36 DME to get to blink. All right, so we're more than halfway there. So we're at 20 nautical miles already. So let's figure out what we need to do once we get to blink. So we need to make a right-hand turn, obviously, but we need to figure out which course this is. So if I go and look, and our course is going to be relative to the Harrisburg VOR. So that's on 112.5. Let's double check that I have that set up. I do right here. We're using nav1 for our primary navigation. So that's set up right there. I also have it on the other 2 radios as well, just for redundancy. If I wanted, what I could do right now is I'm going to just switch the nav2, which is using this CDI right here. This instrument uses nav2. So if I switch this, we'll see that we are in range of that VOR already. So because we have the 2 flag, we know that it's in range, and I can verify that by hitting nav2 on my radio. We'll listen to the DME and compare it to this pattern right here. Yep. So that matches. So that's how we verify that it's the correct VOR. So I can turn that off now. And we're still waiting to get to 36 on our DME here. So we're at 23.9 right now. 24. So now which course do we fly on the way in? Well, right here, if you look right along the Victor 210 line, it says 295. So 295 is the radial. All of these numbers are relative to the VOR. So meaning you're flying from the VOR away from it, you would be on a 295 course if you're coming towards us. So obviously we're not going to fly a 295 course because that will fly us to the northwest. So all we have to do is take the reciprocal of that. So the trick is -2 +2 in this case. So if it's a 2, we subtract 2, becomes 095. Then we add 2, so 9 becomes 11, so it's 115. So our inbound course is going to be 115. And then technically that means we'll be tracking the 295 radial inbound. So 115 is what we need to know. So what I could do is, to prep for that, just put 115 over here. Oh wait, we're on 115, aren't we? Oh, we're already on 115. Sweet. Now, the difference though, so we're on 105 right now. Wait, am I on 105? Oh, I'm on 105. Whoops. 115. There we go. All right, so 115, yeah, of course. The next tick mark there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to turn it 10 degrees to the right once we cross over. All right, so at 36 DME, we will be at blink. So let's go ahead and check again. All right, so we're getting close, so we're gonna get ready for this. So what I'm gonna do now is, once again, I'm gonna sync up our heading bug straight ahead, because I wanna set the course and then I wanna turn it. I don't really wanna change the course while the autopilot is coupled to it. I want to keep our heading going straight while we cross over, just in case, like, what if I accidentally turn the dial too much? We don't want to bank to a course way further, like it might make a more aggressive turn. So instead of doing that, I'm going to switch over to heading mode just to be safe. So it's just holding us on our current heading. Because we were in nav mode, it's already going to be compensating for the wind. It's holding us on the course. So you can see that we are a little bit to the right of the course to compensate for the wind. It was doing that automatically for us. So because I'm in heading mode, a change to the course is not going to change our direction, because autopilot's keeping us on that heading. So I can already go here and just change this over to our new course. It's hard to see because, first of all, I can't zoom in anymore, and secondly, because the heading bug is there. But I did switch that over. Now what I can do, I haven't used this before, I'm going to switch the DME to hold mode. And that's going to remember to use that old VOR while I switch the active VOR. So we're holding the information from the previous VOR, even though we switched our nav radio to a different one. So that's a cool feature on this plane, this hold mode. So we're still monitoring our DME from the first VOR while we're tuned into and activated on the second one for our HSI. So as soon as this hits 36, all I have to do is hit my nav button over here on autopilot, and we'll start turning towards that new course based on the other VOR, the Harrisburg VOR. So we're being as precise as we can. There's 36 miles. I hit nav. It's going to make a slight right turn, so it's going to go 10 degrees to the right. You know, it's going to compensate for the wind. So we're making this turn right here at blink because we hit 36 DME. Now we're making that right-hand turn to go on a course of 115. Where are we going? And let me switch this back to navigation 1 now for our new DME. Is my magnetic...
Contact New York Center on 134.8.
Why am I confused? Why is this all tilted like that? Are we on course yet? Maybe we were off course by that much?
134.8 jet speed 750.
Yeah, I think we just weren't... It's still going to turn left now. Okay, there we go. Because of the scale of this, each one of those tick marks is a mile. For a second, I thought that we weren't going to turn back on course. It's just very, very... it's barely going to move because of how far we are away, too.
134.8 Cessna 87 Lima.
All right, so now we're turning onto course.
New York Center, Cessna November 1.
Co-pilot's taking care of the
13,000 feet.
the comm radio change for us.
Cessna November 1187 Lima, New York Center altimeter 29.999. Continue to Hotel Alpha Romeo.
Oh man, I've had the inertial separator in this whole time. We've been out of the clouds forever. Sorry, engine. I can pull back the torque a little bit now. Alright, so let's double check the course here. Over here, we're still intercepting the course a little bit. No, it looks about right. Alright, we're in nav mode, so I'm going to move the heading bug out of the way. And it looks like I'm just off a little bit here. I need to move this a couple more degrees to the right. This one looks pretty precise to me, so this is helping me kind of just cross-check. Wait, why is it... Okay, we are in nav mode. Alright, cool. Yeah, just getting back on course. So I wasn't on the right course. So when I change that, it's doing such drastic move just because we're so far away from it. So every degree that I'm changing it, we're potentially a mile off course, or, you know, half a mile or something. Just because we're 40 miles away from that next VOR. Alright, that looks more precise to me. Maybe even another little click. Alright, so it's going to turn us to the left again to get onto that course. And I'm just double checking. They're a little challenging to set precisely. With my mouse wheel, every time I use the mouse up or down, one click, it should be just 1 degree. So I'm just double checking. Yeah, that looks pretty precise to me. This one's pretty good. Alright, sweet. Alright, so we're at 13,000 feet. So we're along this route now. And we're on our way headed to the Harrisburg VOR. We're on the 295 radial, but the reciprocal of that is the actual course that we've dialed in, because we're heading inbound. So it's the opposite of that. We got another flyby. Who's that? Oh, it's Toxic Farts again. Ivan looks like he's also gotten ahead of us here. I'm regretting changing it to nighttime. I mean, not like delaying the sunset a little bit, but oh well, it's fine. I don't fly at night that often, so it's no big deal. All right, so at this point, we're headed to the Harrisburg VOR. It's 30 miles away. Now, after that, what we're going to do is we're going to use our virtual VOR, basically, that we set up here at the airport. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear the boom. It sounded awesome though. 5% night bonus. Oh, nice. Yeah, we get like a reputation bonus, I guess, for flying at night. Okay, so earlier what I did was I set up the last leg of the flight already using the RNAV computer right here. So just to review this again, this is tuned into a VOR. Oh, descend to maintain 5,000 feet.
Descend
All right, let's do that.
5,000 feet, Cessna 87 Lima.
All right, vertical speed down. We're going to go 800. So they gave us 5,000 feet. If we look over here at the altitudes on the Victor Airway, you can see as long as we're above 4,000, we'll be in range of the VORs. That's what this 4,000 is. I forget the word. Is it MOCA? There's MOCA and there's MEA. There are a few acronyms about these different altitudes that are shown above the Victor Airway, above these numbers here. So one of them, I forget what the asterisk is as well. The asterisk may be the obstacle clearance altitude. I think that is the obstacle clearance altitude, and the one on top is to make sure you have reception of the VORs on the route. And then sometimes there's a GPS specific one in there as well. But anyway, it's just for us, I mean, the most important one in general is the first one, which is going to give you reception of the VORs on that route. So we have to be at least above 4,000. So they're having us go down to 5,000 at this point. So let's go back to the RNAV computer again. So the way we're using VORs now, like we have these VORs that are actually VORs that we're using. Over here, our airport doesn't have its own VOR. This airport happens to have an ILS and some RNAV approaches. We may end up using one of those. But I did configure the RNAV computer to take us to the airport, basically. So what we're doing is, based on the Harrisburg VOR, we can tell it, take the Harrisburg VOR on the 124 radial, 15.5 miles away, and it's basically creating a virtual waypoint there based on the VOR. So it's not GPS, but it's basically the predecessor to that, to doing this kind of like navigation. This lets us put a virtual VOR wherever we want based on our current VOR. So as long as we're in the range to use the VOR that we're using, in this case Harrisburg, as long as we're within the range to receive that VOR, we can put a waypoint anywhere in its range. So we're doing that, and we're putting a waypoint right here for this airport. And the way I got those numbers was, you can look at the estimates here. It shows us it's 125 degrees from there and 60 nautical miles. But what you can do is go into the airport information page to get a more detailed one. So if I go to the Harrisburg airport page, right here, it'll show those numbers more precisely. So it says that the Harrisburg VOR is on this radial, or the airport is on the Harrisburg 124 radial, 15.5 miles away from it on that radial. So that's the information that we dial in here. So that's why I have 124 and 15.5 miles. And then what we can do is just switch our HSI source over to RNAV, and that'll be using the RNAV computer with our virtual VOR on our HSI right here. So we can choose a course and we can fly to or from it. But instead of representing a VOR, it's going to represent the airport, even though there's no VOR there. All right, I just pressed B on my keyboard to update my VOR, or update my altimeters. All right, they're switching us over to approach. All right, and we're descending. I'm going to turn my landing lights on because we're going to be under 10,000 in about a minute.
Approach Cessna November 1187. Lima is at 1.
And 5 degrees Celsius outside, so we're keeping our pitot heat turned on.
Cessna November 1187 Lima, approach altimeter 29.999. Continue to Hotel Alpha Romeo as planned.
All right, and they say to continue to the VOR as planned. They said Hotel Alpha Romeo. Yep, that's right. That's Harrisburg VOR. We already tuned it, identified it, and all that. So we are 14.7 miles away from it. Now we might get an ILS approach or something assigned to us. So mattering what the weather's like, there are 2 ILS approaches available at Harrisburg. So we may get the 1-3 or the 3-1 for ILS. If we do, I'll switch over and we'll do the ILS approach. If we don't, and they give us a visual approach, because the weather might be good enough, or they're just doing visual approaches. If they're doing a visual approach, then we'll use the RNAV computer to line up with that runway. Or at the very least, yeah, we'll use it to line up with the runway. At the very least, we're going to use it to get to the airport. But yeah, so once we cross over, we're going to cross over in 12 miles here. Let me go ahead and center up my heading bug. And they may not give us instruction soon, so we need to make that right-hand turn and go towards the Harrisburg Airport. So I am going to switch over to use the RNAV source once we get to 0 miles here. And then this little DME, this DME instrument right here works for NAV1 and NAV2 radios. But down here, this is essentially our NAV3 radio. The RNAV computer here, the KNS80, it gives us our own DME information right here. So when we're using that, we look at this DME info. So we can, we can see that we're 25 miles away from the airport right now. No, our descent is fine. We're at 800. We're going down to 5,000 feet. We're at 9,500 right now. Sorry, 8,500 right now. You guys dog fighting over here? I don't know if RSPDX is with the group or not, but looks like Toxic and Ivan are like dog fighting or something. But I forget. Wait, Ivan's in the DA62, right? If I change the weather, I think it might get angry at me. It might get angry at me in OnAir Company if I change the weather while we're flying. All right, we're under 8,000 feet now. And we're 6.5 miles away. So what I can do again, I'm going to go to heading mode. Switch the autopilot to heading mode. I'm going to switch our HSI source over to RNAV. Now, one limitation of the RNAV... Oh, yeah, this is why it didn't work last time. You can't use the autopilot with the RNAV system. So you just have to fly with a heading bug yourself. So anyway, as I switch that, you can see that this is our course to our virtual airport. Or to the airport on our virtual viewer. ILS 13. All right, they're clearing us to Hotel Alpha Romeo transition. So that's the VOR we're headed to right now. So we're still going to stick on this. Once we cross over, we're going to need to figure out what to do now. This is maybe I shouldn't have done this. This is going to be a test for sure. If I want to use the RNAV computer to do this. So what we can do, they said to use the Hotel Alpha Romeo transition. So in our case, initial approach fix, we're about to cross over. It says that after we cross it, we should be taking a 118 course. And... oh, this is just flying right in. Oh, this is going to be easy. Okay. This one's not too crazy because we're just on a straight in. So this is no big deal. So we can tune in the localizer though. 110.9. I'm going to do that up here. So what we could do is we could have made virtual waypoints based on the approach to intersections that aren't VORs. So the same way we found our way to that intersection before using DME, we would do the same thing using the RNAV computer. In this case, though, we have a localizer, and we just crossed over the VOR, and there's the airport right there. So I'm going to switch back to NAV1. Our localizer course is 128. So let's put in 128. There's 130. There's 128 right there. And let's switch back to nav mode. And turn on approach mode. Get a glide slope. Armed. Okay, that's good. Nav mode. Oh, that's for GPS. I don't need that. Okay. So where is our glide slope needle? Is this right?
87 Lima.
110, oh, 110.9.
Contact tower on 124.8 when inbound on the approach.
Oh, we're way above the glide slope already.
Decimal 8, Cessna 87.
All right, so we're gonna dive down to that glide slope.
Tower Cessna November 1187, Lima 1 tree miles.
And what are we supposed to be at?
Runway, 1 tree approach.
5,000 down to 2,800.
Cessna November
Final approach
1187
fix.
Lima Tower.
2,450 down to 2,500.
00 wind calm cleared ILS runway 1 tree approach.
All right, they cleared us for the approach. This is just too late, basically. Like we should have, we would have wanted to be on this way sooner, because we have to just dive now. I'm just going to idle, basically. So because I think in reality, ATC would have had us go off and vectored us to get on course for the ILS approach, but because Microsoft Flight Sim ATC doesn't do that, we were so close to the airport already. Like we had to immediately change course and start diving down to get on this. Yeah, they gave it to the instruction and the clearance just to us just now. We should have had that before we even got to that VOR, but we had already crossed it. So it's basically just happened too late, but it's fine. I have it tuned in now. We're going to catch up to the glide slope as best I can here. So on this instrument, we can see the glide slope's way below us right here. We need to get down to 2,500 feet. So we're diving to get down to that. Idle. Pitot heat can go off now. Landing lights are on. Strobe is on. Not in flap range yet. Nice. Oh, that looks so cool. Dude, the lighting looks really cool when you get lower too. Like, I don't know if they changed things about how the ambient lights work. All right, we're about to intercept the glide slope right now. Okay, we already got it. We're on glide slope. All right, let's look at our minimums. 508, we're good. It's clear, but 508 MSL if we need it. Missed approach procedure is right here. Climb to 900. Climbing left turn to 3,000 on a heading of 060. So sync our heading bug first. We're on the glide slope, so we can change our selected altitude. We'll eventually go up to 3,000, so I'll put that up to 3,000 in case we need it. We won't. Okay, I'm in within flap range. DME, we're 6 miles out right now. And actually, yeah, this is not on hold anymore. Okay. All right, well, we got the ILS, so thankfully it was a straight in, but maybe we'll run into a more challenging one at some other point. It would have been very challenging for me to do an ILS approach if I had to dial in a few waypoints we needed to follow. Thankfully, this one was pretty much just a straight in from the VOR. But the same way we used the RNAV computer to basically put a waypoint on this, we would use... Okay, clear to land runway 13.
Cleared to land runway 13, Cessna 87 Lima.
And they said wind calm. All right, we're 5 miles out. So what we could do the same way... So over here back on the approach plate, if there were waypoints around the vicinity here, like say to the south, where we needed to get to, there would be information to show us the distance those are from certain other waypoints, so we would be able to get to them using this RNAV computer. The same way we did, the same way we were able to put a virtual waypoint on the airport, or in the same way we were able to figure out when we were crossing an intersection on the Victor Airway. Similar way to those things, we would be able to put a virtual waypoint and fly to it using this RNAV computer. All this stuff is done for us with GPS now, but that's how we would do it using this computer. All right, 3.7 miles out. It says we're on the glide slope, but here it shows we're below the glide slope on the instrument. It says, maybe this is a bug. Look, it says that we're below the glide slope, but it looks good to me right here. Like visually, this looks good. But it's showing the glide slope above us. Our vertical speed is pretty low, pretty shallow too, like 300 feet per minute right now. 2.7 miles out. I'm going to get our last notch of flaps in. Winds are calm. Pop's full forward and everything. Everything else is good. Landing lights are on. Now we're just about on the glide slope. You can see the needle's a little high still. So we're a little lower than the glide slope. Got some gusts of wind here. And is our radar altimeter not working? Oh, there we go. All right, we're at 500 feet. So this will go down to 200 feet. You can see there's a little like red marker there, I guess you can set. So you can set our minimum there if we were using it. Supposedly, technically, we're not supposed to use radar altimeter for our minimums. For a Cat 1. But our minimums are 900. Oh, was it leveling me off? Whoops. I looked away for a second at the plate. That was my fault. Yeah, we were already at 700. I should have had autopilot off already. This is going to be a very long landing. Sorry, we have like a super long runway here. Alright, beta, reverse, stops so fast. Alright, nice. I'm going to turn our taxiway lights on because I can't see anything. The glide slope is weird. I'm not sure why it looked so high at first. I actually tabbed out to look at the minimums really quickly, and then when I came back in, we were already at above or below minimums, and I leveled off there, so I had to like kind of dive. It was my fault. Where's the next taxiway exit here? Here we go. Oops. Alright, go into low idle. Let's turn our... Get ready to turn our strobe and landing light off. Alright, strobe off, landing light off, parking brake on, low idle. I forgot the inertial separator on landing. Whoops. Put our flaps back up. Alright, that's good. I think, yeah, that's good. Inertial separator should be on, I guess, for taxiing. Alright, and then let's check ground frequency. That's fine, we can just go find parking wherever. Looks like there's some buildings over there. Let's go over there. And then let's give away a few more keys for OnAir Company and then call it a day. Alright, let me just go park. Good luck to all the fighter jets if you guys are trying to land those jets here. I have such a hard time landing the fighter jets, like the Super Hornet too. I guess the Super Hornet's the one I've flown most recently, but I don't fly them too often. It's pretty challenging. Came up short and landed on a house. So you're saying you survived? I mean, the way the jets sound when they pass by, though, is so awesome. We didn't hear the sonic boom, but it still sounded awesome. Is there a road here? I can't tell. It looks like there's a... Oh yeah, there we go. There's the turn. I just don't trust that there's going to be a line every time, so I always end up looking around. We're just going to go over here. Hopefully this will count as a parking spot as far as the Microsoft Flight Sim logbook goes. With OnAir, as long as you're like within the vicinity of the airport when you shut down, you're fine. It doesn't really matter if you're in like the designated parking areas of the simulator itself. Alright, this looks good enough. Alright, landing lights off. Prop. Feathered. Fuel cut off. There we go. Turn these guys off. And actually, if I don't do this stuff... Oh, oxygen was still on too. If I don't do these things, when I come back, they'll be in the same spot in this plane. This is like the one where it's like actually important to do this stuff. It's not going to reset. All right, taxi light is off. Beacon is off. Battery. All right, cool. Whoa. There we go. All right, we made it. All right, sweet. Let's check out the landing. Very smooth, sweet. 1.02 Gs, 60 knots. Earn a little bit of money. All right, now we're in Pennsylvania. Sweet. Oh, the fuel selectors don't maintain the state? Really? I thought... I haven't tested it, but I thought they said pretty much everything maintains the state. I'll see when I come back in next time. I mean, I could leave them on and test it. All right. Yeah, we're good. So we made it to Pennsylvania. Let's go ahead and do some codes. If you guys want a free month of OnAir Company, courtesy of OnAir Company. I got 3 more codes to give away. Let me just set that up here. I'm just going to reset it really quickly. Keyword is exclamation mark giveaway. All right, keyword. All right, so all I have to do is type giveaway in the chat. And I have 3 more to give away today. And then next week I'm going to do a stream. And we'll do... And we'll do 5 more next week. They were generous enough to give me codes for the rest of the month. So, yeah, it's awesome. They're just giving away 1-month codes. Yeah, I'll do 3 more. We did 3 after the first flight, so I'll do 3 more, and then I'm going to call it a day and get myself some dinner. Maybe next time I'll do a more... a shorter command or something. If you guys are on your phones or something, typing it in. And then if you win one, I just need you to give me either like your Discord username or your email address, I guess. That'd be the best way to do it. So then I can just directly send you the code. All right, there's only 3 of you. Let's do one. I'm going to do 3, man. Actually, if there's only 3 of you, then we can just give it to you 3. Oh, there's 4. All right, there's 5. All right, I'll give it another 30 seconds and then we'll do it. And then if you don't this time, the next stream I do, I'll do more. So I have more to give away if you don't get one this time. And then if you do get one, all you have to do is go to the OnAir Company site, make an account if you don't have one. And there's a place under the My Account section to enter the redemption code. And you just apply it. And then when you download and open the app, it'll and log into the app, it'll obviously be connected. You'll be good to go for a month. I think you could probably even apply it to an existing one. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure out about that, but you could even hold on to it until the end of your current one and then use it. I'll have to ask about expiration of the codes and stuff like that, if that's even a thing. All right, I got 6 of you guys entered. Let me hit the button 3 times. Bandits here. All right. Anyone else? Final chance. Going once. All right. Got 7 of you now. All right. Let's roll the first one. RS is number 1. Where'd the reroll button go? Number 2. DN. And number 3, Bandit, fellow YouTuber. These are for 1-month codes for OnAir. All right, sweet. So if you guys could just send me your, you could just type it. You have to type it in the chat, unfortunately. I think that's the only way to do it. Just give me either your email address or your Discord username, and I'll just send you the code directly. It's kind of the only way I can do it, just because to make sure that people aren't like saying they are you. All right, Scooby. All right, DN, I'm gonna get that set up. I'm gonna do it right now live before I end the stream, just to make sure everybody's all set up. All right, start a conversation. I think I probably have to add you guys as friends first for it to work. All right, I sent a request to you, DN. And then RS products, if you're there too, dude. I just need either an email, and if you want, once I grab your username, you can, if you want to delete it from the chat, you can, if you don't want it to be in there. It's the only way I can think of to do it safely is by you telling me where to send the code. All right, there you go. DN, got you. Sent you your code. Yeah, thanks to OnAir Company. I think they randomly saw the stream when I did the first few, and they wanted to see if I wanted to give some codes away, so why not? You're on Discord? Yeah, if you go to Discord, there's like a little number as well, RS. If you go to the bottom, like to your user area, it'll show your name and like a little, there'll be like little numbers after it, like number sign and 4 numbers. Another option is, I mean, if you're in the Discord already and you just want to DM me, that's fine. If it's something similar, I just need to verify that it's you. That's all. If I could DM you on YouTube, that would be the easiest thing, but there's no way to just message someone on YouTube. And Bandit, if you're there, let me know your email or your Discord username so I can add you and send it along. All right, RS, yeah, no rush. I can chill out a bit until you can send it over. Yeah, I'd like to find a better way to do this where you guys don't have to like type in your info or anything, but I guess that's that's one nice thing that Twitch has, I guess, is that it does have DMs. So if we were on Twitch right now, I could just click your name and just paste the code and just DM it to you, but yeah, no way to do that on YouTube, unfortunately. Yeah, the only options I have are to, like, report people. All right, Derek, thanks for joining. Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I might have to re-roll another one here if Bandit's not around. I could find him. I'm sure he has his own Discord and stuff like that. You DM'd me on Discord. Okay. Got it. Awesome. All right, that one's good. And then Bandit, are you there? Oh, and DN is sending me screenshots from like another mod that improves the interior panel. Oh, it's like a darker, it's like the colors are all different. I wish I could put like a G5 in the 208. That would be cool. Okay, Bandit, I got you. I'm going to add you right now. All right, just sent you a friend request, Bandit. Yeah, it's nice to be able to give these away too, just because I don't think OnAir Company has a free trial period. Like, I think you have to pay for one. So this is a nice way to basically get a free trial for a month. So I'm sure they see it the same way. All right, Bandit sent you the last one. Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I mean, I'm pretty stoked about the RNAV, like the RNAV instrument, the RNAV computer. That thing is really cool. So I think I'll probably stick on the analog Caravan, at least for the next stream. So we'll do that, and then maybe we'll get another approach that is just a bit more complex, or one that has more waypoints, so I can try out setting those different waypoints using that RNAV computer. So yeah, that'll be fun. All right, that was a good, what do we do today? Almost 4 hours of flying, so I'm gonna go, I think I'm gonna pour myself some whiskey tonight, which is not an everyday thing. I'm out of beer, so I'm gonna have a whiskey, I'm gonna make dinner, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream. I'll be gone on like Friday and Saturday. I'm going to be out of town, but I should be back on Sunday in time to do one. If not, then I might do a midweek stream after next weekend. But on the next one, I have 5 more keys to give away if you didn't get one this time. So come hang out in the next one, or hop in the Discord if you want. All the links are in the video description. Thanks for hanging out again. Have a good rest of your night or your day, and I'll see you on the next stream. See ya. Oh, and thanks for all the escorts, by the way. Thanks for the military escort. Toxic farts. And who else was flying the jet? I know Ivan joined in the DA62. And RSP, is that Chris? Did Chris jump in another one? I actually didn't see what he was flying because it was so dark. But anyway, thanks for flying along today, guys. All right. See you again. Bye.